What is up? We are not dead. We did not quit. We did not burn out. I found it crazy.
I didn't divorce Eric in some sort of odd splitting of the Morelia community. Yeah.
I found it odd that our well, it's not really our last episode that we did, but
Together?
it's the last one that was on the podcast platform was Burnout.
Burnout. Greg Trumbauer, you're gone. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's just been wow. It's been kind of crazy, man.
Yeah,
I honestly, what I've been busy with is the undertaking of getting ready for Carpet Fest that has begun.
Excellent.
I have been working nonstop in my yard and my house.
You need to stop doing that. You need to pick a weekend, and I have multiple people who have volunteered. Voluntold. I mean, like, blackmail, whatever. They're going to do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
What's up, everybody in the chat? We haven't done Carpets and Coffee since we did it with cold caffeine,
cold-blooded caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was like, shit, it's been that long? Holy crap.
Yeah, it kind of got away from us, which it's weird because we were so rigid about that in the first, 5 fucking years. So it's like,
I thought like, so we came back. I came back. So for people that don't know, which I guess everybody does know, I mean, I was herping in Utah, which was a week out of commission. Right. And I thought, my feeling is that, okay, we'll do this one show before we go. And then there's so many reptile podcasts out there. I mean,
people will have things to listen to.
It'll give people a chance to catch up on their playlists and whatever, and clear out the list so they can start fresh. And then all kind of craziness has happened over the last 2 weeks. And then the other day we were going to record, and the building across the directly behind my store catches on fire and blows up. So it's just been.
You send me a picture of these billowing black clouds. You're like, God, I need a delay. I'm like, oh.
But I am glad that people miss it. It was funny when we were out in Utah. I think it was either Aspen or Chris were saying that, and they were the guys we met up with out there that sort of took us to some local spots and whatnot. And we tell me about it. Blew an engine. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. No.
Car stuff. Ooh.
No.
But they were saying about like there was no NPR, and like I'm just like, yeah, well, I'm right here now.
Yeah, I can't record if I'm sitting in front of you. Yeah, I mean, you need me to do that, right?
It's and I was like, so I started thinking, like, do you really like?
People are that upset.
You're really? I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. Well, so I'll get back to work.
Yeah. Well, it was funny.
Enough slacking.
I took Tuesday off because of Memorial Day and stuff like that. I gave myself a little 4-day weekend or something from work, and Matt came up, and he and I
was supposed to come up too.
You were, yeah. Matt,
that was the day the store caught on fire.
Yeah, we're up there, and like Matt's like, oh man, we're doing like, he's like, next time we got to do it like, Eric will, got a couple more people, and we could actually chill and like eat and do all that fun stuff, because he and I just, we checked out snakes, but then we just sat around shooting shit the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, like, I'm like, the one person who's constantly bitching that he needs to see my stuff, of course, isn't the one who's here. So Matt's like, I got to see it. I'm like, you did?
Yeah.
So Matt got to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. How about Matt too with the Sri Lankan clutch?
Dude, he and I were talking about that. He said the eggs are fucking huge. He said that they will change color. The animals will, like, after a certain length or something like that.
Right.
So it's going to be really cool with that kind of stuff. So he was talking about the Sri Lankans. He had a clutch of Borneos that he needed to set up when he got home. And then he just missed, he saw a couple of clutches that were hatching out here, but then he just missed my rhino laid like the next day. My rhino rat snake laid, because we were watching her cruise around, and he's like, dude, you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, yeah, he was right. There were 10 of them in there.
Wow. That's pretty cool. We should pay homage to our good buddy Lucas, who was super excited about doing the show today.
Got
but
so excited his tummy got upset.
We haven't talked to him about his whole
what's going on with his womas,
woma pythons, which he's just crushing it.
Yeah.
You know, where he's at with the school part of it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I guess we'll catch up with him at some point.
We're gonna have to. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he still works here. I think. I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, there is a Philly Herp Society, I believe, Philadelphia Herp Society. I'm pretty sure there is.
I do not know. I know there was the one that I spoke at was the Lancaster Herpetological Society. And that I always thought was the closest one to me because I never found one that was a Philly Herp Society or like Montgomery or Bucks or something like that. The one I always thought was the closest was Lancaster. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
Hold on. There it is. Philadelphia Herpetological Society.
Well, son of a bitch.
Oh, wait. Maybe
no,
closed.
It's done in 2010. Never mind. Yeah.
Okay.
There was one. There was one. It died. Yeah. So...
because I remember as a kid,
2010.
Yeah, wow. I think I went to a couple of meetings when I was a kid with my dad, if I'm not mistaken. But okay,
there were a couple people at the Lancaster one with kids, so it was like a good way to get everything going with that.
You still taking white lips? The white lips?
No, I have white lips. Why would I need more white lips?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's actually talk about coffee. The coffee that I've been drinking for the past week. Well, first of all, I think I said this on the Utah trip when we got back and did the recap.
Yeah.
Utah doesn't know anything about coffee.
Apparently, it's not
beautiful landscapes, some of the best national parks in the U.S. You know, the desert is hard to beat. That orange rock coffee, not so much.
Yep.
But what are you going to do? But I've been drinking Project Herpticulture's blend from Cold Blooded Caffeine, and it's actually pretty good. It's a lighter roast, but yeah, I quite enjoyed it. And I usually don't like lighter roast, but it's pretty good.
Lighter roast is good. I have taken a break from coffee.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't need summer.
No. I mean, I drink cold brew all the time. I mean, I'll keep drinking cold brew like Wawa or Dunkin' during the weekends.
Yeah.
But I'm not making my own. I kind of took a break because I don't need coffee to wake me up in the morning anymore.
Yeah.
I have screaming puppies, screaming at the top of their lungs. So.
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, we haven't uploaded a show. I guess it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks as a podcast. They've been on YouTube. But I told a couple people that would be up Wednesday, and then that turned into Thursday, and I just got Reptile Fight Club up from the Utah trip. And I just want to put this disclaimer out there. I put this out there before, but like it's so difficult to battle against East Coast herping. Versus West Coast herping. The only thing I had, Owen, was hellbenders. We have those.
Hellbenders and Burmese pythons.
Burmese pythons. We have a python.
Alligators. Wait.
Rob threw it back at me and he said, well, we have natural boas. And I was like, oh,
that was a good one.
I said, we have crocodilians. We're the side with the crocodilians.
Yeah. Right? Well, I mean, where do you draw the line at West?
So because West Texas.
Okay.
Over.
All right. So there are no. Okay. Yeah.
No.
Right. All right.
Yeah. We're in East Texas.
We're okay.
Yeah.
Eastern hognose, Western hognose, those cancel each other
Eastern
out.
Diamondbacks. Yeah. Lisa, you're right. Eastern Diamondback. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's the biggest rattlesnake. We also have timber rattlesnakes.
Don't start comparing rattlesnakes because then we lose. We lose immediately.
Yeah, I did immediately. They're
exactly. It's like, all right,
what do you like
timber,
the best?
We have Eastern, and then everything else. That's it.
I said, well, I like rattlesnakes, and they're just like, loser.
Christ,
we have the most.
Yeah. We have indigos. Now they have Western. Texas indigo.
Yeah, no. Texas would be on this side.
Yeah.
Because they're in Eastern Texas.
Yeah, we have indigos. Yeah, okay.
So anyway, I was saying about Project Herpticulture. Bobby Pebbles, Rob Boulder, Bobby Boulder,
Jim,
Bob
Rock, Bobby Pebbles,
Yeah.
Robert Boulder. Yeah.
He was on Project Herpticulture, and it was a great talk. Great talk. It actually kind of reminds me of my conversations with Rob on the phone.
Yeah.
And I have always tried to want to capture that, but somehow I guess I can't do that when we're live and they can. So
Kyle wins, the Gila Monster.
Yeah, well, that's on the West Coast. So I mean,
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
the West Coast, there's no.
But if you're sitting here and you're trying to cancel it out, it's like, well, Gila Monster, Hellbender, cancel. Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's like Western and Eastern Diamondback, Timber, and I don't know, Great Basin. Like, you keep canceling, but then like we run out of cool shit though. Like they're like, and that's when it's like Will or Die, Rock. And they we lose.
Yeah.
We lose.
Yeah. It's quite so. It's funny though, the interesting conversation was that most, like, Dustin has never herped on the East Coast. Justin, I think, once has herped on the East Coast. Rob herped on both.
Yep.
Nipper never herped. He's only herped West Coast.
Right.
So it's funny how, like, they kind of already know that they're in the land of Shangri-La.
But if you take the animals out of it, and you just go by experience, which is better, dry desert, swampy, tick infested Jersey. Like,
there's no comment. The worst part is that Rob was on my side, unfortunately for him, but he was on my side, and you know how Rob feels about ticks. So how could he like battle against ticks?
I don't know, dude. One of the puppies came in with a tick like on its head.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the week, every little speck, I'm like, mother, no, dirt.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, and I'm, of course, like me, I'm like, no, it was.
Yeah, Robert, I'm with you, man. It was that's kind of where I was. We have all introduced species. I mean, we do have Burmese pythons, I guess, but
yeah, we got Burmese python. They're like, we have a naturally occurring boa. We have an unnaturally occurring python. So yeah,
Lisa, talk to Rob Stone about ticks. Yeah, you got ticks out there, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but
you do.
Not like we have ticks.
Well, they love that delicious Colorado blood. Yeah, dude,
they're off the hook. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I'm with Robert though. All herping to me is good. It's fun to be in different environments. I think for me, I really like the West Coast more because it's so different than what we have. And here's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's much easier to find reptiles, in my opinion, in the West Coast because there's not the same cover as there is in the East Coast. I mean, you walk up, think about anywhere in Western Pennsylvania, it's just a green
pasture.
Just green.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh shit.
Yep.
Yeah, the Eastern Sasquatch is definitely much.
It's just as make believe as the Western one.
I think I told you. Yeah, I think I told you this on the Utah trip recap.
Yeah.
But when we were out in this one, we were at this one spot where we first met up with Aspen, and if I could have picked any spot that would have been a Sasquatch.
You say that every place.
Yeah, but this dude,
every place.
Dude, this was definitely.
You're like
spot.
This. Here it is. It's like it's like you're like those people.
I
bet you.
I whooped.
Stop it. You're like, I bet you it's in that grove of trees. You said that about the last 5 fucking grove of trees.
And I've never found the elusive monkey.
Yeah, stupid ass.
So that's sort of what we've been up to. So over the weekend, we'll get all caught up. We got the show we did about white-lipped pythons that has to go up. We got the Utah recap that'll go up. That'll be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. And then we'll get back into the swing of things, and
we'll actually start doing shows again. I know that there were some people who were like, where are the shows? And I'm like, well, you should be the first to know. So I may be the reason there have been rumors, but
I finally convinced Eric to quit.
I told him I didn't want to do it anymore.
He's going to live in the forest.
He's not speaking to me. Yeah. Yep.
No. But we're just getting ready for so like I was saying, Carpet Fest is kind of what I've been focused on and trying to get that all squared away, and what I'm paying people to do, what I'm doing.
What we can have the slave labor do? Like, will you please let me just bring you people?
He shows up with a crew.
Like, exactly. Like, I know I'm gonna get, like, the problem is you're gonna keep going like, I don't know, and then I'm gonna show up and find out you built an entire wing on your house.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the fuck? And Dory's gonna be like, yeah, that was pissing him off for like 2 months. I'm like, well, why didn't he say anything? So
no, I forgot. I forgot how much we're carpet festive.
Yes,
it's been crazy. Yes.
It is not. It is a labor of love that we absolutely fucking hate. But it's like,
I think it's definitely worth it though.
It will be. That's why,
especially this year. I'm excited about this year because I won't be locked in my reptile room.
I'm not allowing that to happen. If you
that's
go in
the first thing I did. I switched the locks.
If you go in that room once, I'm gonna drag you out of there.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to get off the grill, man. I'm becoming quite the master out there. You know,
I'm all right with this. I'm totally fine with this.
But yeah,
we should do some little reptile news, kind of jump around because
So what do we got?
Keith McPeak got a litter of Argentines.
I know you've been waiting for them forever.
Absolutely gorgeous, and I am already chomping at the bit. And he's like, yeah, dude. Oh yeah, come pick your pair. And I'm like, can I get it now? Like, it's so.
I guess we have to figure that out because I have to bring him some lizards.
Yeah, dude. Let's all go to. Let's not tell him, and let's all go to Keith's. Like, he can't stop us. So,
hi Keith, we're here.
Hi Keith, we're here. If we bring Matt, he'll forgive us. Like, if we just show up, he's like, no, not the NPR boys. Closed door. Yeah. So.
Alex, yes, I do still have the monitors. I have the Ackies, the Kims, and I have the Geckos. I still have the blue tongue skinks. But I am going to send my Ackies and Kims to Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keith's kind of doing this lizard kick right now. He's got the he's got the earless lizards, which are kind of cool.
I feel like which kind of cool.
I mean,
dude, they're like little tiny dragons. I mean, man.
I keep saying, like, look at the little water Gila monster. It's like,
I can't wait to see them,
dude. Those will be cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think I maybe I didn't talk about this. I just find myself like I'm at the spot where I'm like, you know, I've talked about condensing the collection down and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. And I just feel like if with lizards, I freaking love them, but I just hate the idea of like, I'm not doing them not doing them properly justice. I don't know what the word is. It's not like I neglect them or something like that, but yes, earless monitors, Kyle. Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know, Keith would be, that would just make his Keith. You know, I just know that he would love every minute of them.
Yeah, and he would set them up kind of really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, didn't he put the earless in that tank that he has in the wall in his living room?
I think so.
If he did, that's awesome. That's where I would put them.
Yeah, right.
Like that. That is exactly where I would put them.
Yeah.
He's got this cool thing where you walk into his basement and there's a recessed tank in the wall that you can access on your way down to the basement. But if you're sitting in his living room, it's just it's almost like having a TV. And I'm like, oh yeah, I really hope that's where they are.
Dude, that was like in the 1980s. That was sort of like, you know, you were like a high roller if you did that going on. Yeah, you were like a rich dude. You know, like it's like, check out my tank.
Look at my tank.
In the wall.
It's in the wall.
How do you do that, man? Yeah, so are too hot too. They turn that's another thing.
I have 3 rough scale pythons in this room and I'm broiling to death. Like, you know,
Owen was patting himself down with a towel before we started.
Dude, it's way too fucking hot, and I'm running around with like pipples, and then I'm coming up here, and I'm like, I am sweating to freaking death.
Yeah,
nuts.
Oh man, but I don't know. I guess that's kind of part of it, but like, I think probably the biggest thing is I always feel bad with going on these herping trips, and that's sort of like, you know, I'm loving that at the moment, and I just feel bad leaving them my wife to take care of them and all and whatnot. So snakes, you can roll out. You know what I mean? And
just, you have water. Bye. Hope you make it.
Like, see you later.
Yeah.
But you know, to leave for a week, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
Especially if my wife, to like open a little, you know, either a little tub or, you know, a cage or something, and like use a, you know,
pour
like
water in,
pour water
like,
in through like a, I don't know, whatever you
would.
Dude,
Melissa has actually been helping me feed because it's now just slowly becoming a massive undertaking. So, it's greatly appreciated, but it's like, God damn, like, could you imagine if the collection was just like lizards or something like that?
Man,
I've also seen people with big lizards like clear an entire bag of rats that we would like. It's a bag of 15 rats, and we would feed those 15 rats to 15 snakes. It's like one lizard eats that bag in a sitting or something like that.
Right.
So,
yeah, lizards are just another level. Rob, he's getting rid of his snakes getting rid of most of his snakes. Your retics and all, that's what you're getting rid of?
If someone were to walk into my house, or not walk into my house, I don't want you people doing that. But if someone were to present themselves as being like a really good home for my retic, I would consider it, because I keep looking at her cage being like, that's an 8-footer full of an animal that isn't breeding. Like, it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not that I don't like the lizards. It's just that, you know, time, as always, space, as always, you know, he's getting rid of the white lips and retics. Oh, okay.
White lips are an overrated species.
How dare you,
me.
Sir.
I know.
Well, you breed them once, and now they're
old news. Now it's Timor pythons all day, every day.
They're for the beginners. That's a beginner snake.
Dude, I was sitting here the other day, and I'm like, how many freaking white lips are in this house? And I'm like counting it out. I'm like, a lot. There are a lot. And we have that. I told you about the issue that I have where it's like, okay, cool, I'll separate all my babies out. Holy crap, I have 9 bins open, and I have 3 freaking clutches in the incubator still. It's like, well, it's because there's an entire clutch of white lips still here. Like, nothing sold. They're all just kind of here. So
yeah, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
We do.
But before that, like, so what's the snake market like at this point?
Matt and I were talking about that. We're talking with a couple of the people.
Yeah.
The snake market right now, it seems to be definitely a lot of people inquiring, which is always good. Not a lot of people actually purchasing, and if they are, it is definitely got like a $500 or less kind of a thing. I'm not really seeing getting any interest above like as much as I get people who are like, you know what, I would really love a rhino rat snake, or man, I love a white lip. It's like, okay, this is how much they are. Ghost, disappear, gone. So
I guess it's because people don't have money, because they ain't buying food either.
There's a lot of things. I mean, I would say inflation definitely is not helping. I would say it's the summer months right now, so people are kind of a little tight. Things are a little expensive. I'm not sure if we're going to get some relief come fall or anything like that, but it is definitely something that is she's so sweet. What? How did that happen? So, and like I said, it's not everybody. Some people are still purchasing. It's just not a lot of people are purchasing the large ticket item. And a lot of people, there seems to be a lot of stuff kicking around on different websites and stuff like that, like Morph Market and Fauna and things like that. So I don't know.
So what's your feeling on, we haven't talked about this. What's your feeling on, have you followed it, the whole Morph Market thing? What do you think of what they've done? Is it good? Is it bad? That dude, what's his name?
David?
Is it David? No.
David begins with a D. I don't know.
Begins with a D.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
I've followed it a little bit. I understand where the idea is coming from with a lot of that stuff. I would say that maybe the execution didn't come out too well. I know he wanted to put tags on wild caught animals, which I understand why. Is because they want people who may necessarily be a layman to know that this is a wild caught animal. Now, from the seller side of it, why does that need to be tagged? I'm going to tell you it's a wild caught animal, and you should know it's a wild caught animal or something like that. I guess it would be, I can see, like, why are you trying to flag it or put it as something as a negative part of the ad? Like, could you imagine if every single one of our ads just slapped up like something negative or something with like Nido or could have Nido or something like that? It's like, well, why would you do that? So I get their aspect of it of why does there need to be a tag, and then I also get his aspect of it of it's a good way to make sure that people know what they're purchasing. It's like I don't know.
I guess the only, and this would probably work itself out over time, but the only thing that I see as far as that goes would be, I think the issue is not the people that are selling wild caught animals and being upfront with it. It's the people that are not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
that's the idea.
Yeah.
So if you're upfront with it, why does it matter? But
that takes the community sort of policing it, no?
Right. That's the whole thing is like, so we always talk about policing ourselves, yet we are the absolute worst about it. So the second there's something in place that could potentially start policing it or starting to interact with that kind of stuff, people fight it tooth and nail. So yeah, and it's the thing, like I have wild caught animals. I do 100%. I'm not selling any right now. All the animals that I have for sale are captive born and bred. So this does not affect me. But I also have animals that I'm selling that are captive born and bred that are going up against animals in the same pages, in the same categories that are wild caught. So the white lips, for instance, you go through all the white lips on Morph Market and you see gold-faced white lips, and they range from $400 to $1,000. Okay. You have 400, you have 600, you have 1,000.
Okay.
And honest to God, the price range also varies on size. You have adult animals that are $600, but they're wild caught.
Right.
Which I don't know if it says it. I know that's what they are.
Right.
Same thing. Like if there's a $400 baby white lip, guess what? It's a wild caught, even if they don't say it. But then as you start creeping in, sometimes people have long-term captive, or they purchased a captive hatched or captive born and bred, and they're just trying to get rid of it, and it's $600. So some baby white lips on Morph Market are more expensive than the adults. And you have to know the difference between that. If I'm a layman and just coming in, I see $1,000 white lip and I see a $400 white lip. I don't know the difference between the two.
Yeah. But I mean, okay.
But I should.
I understand that. And I understand people not knowing that. But isn't it like basic human knowledge at this point that like there's a reason why, like if you walk in and you're looking at TVs, and you see one TV that's $5,000,
a $900 television, and this is a $200,
and you see one that's $200. Like clearly, you know, there's a difference. They're both TVs, right? But the $5,000 one is going to do more. Maybe it's a 3D thing. Maybe it's some kind of new technology. Whatever. And it's just like, wait, what?
But you need to understand who you're dealing with. So, do you remember when you had a lightning line jungle on the table?
Yeah.
And the guy literally asked you, what is the difference between this and the $200 one over there? And you said, that's going to be prettier. And he goes, yeah, but that one's $200. Like, that's where you're at. So somebody's going to sit there and be like, what's the difference between these two white lips? This one is a captive born and bred animal that has only been eating frozen thawed its entire life. This is a wild caught baby that was hauled out of the jungle that you have no idea how it's going to go, how it's going to feed. Also, it's the same size as my baby. I guarantee you it's a year or two older. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, your faith in consumers is touching.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard. I pride myself.
These are the same people who go try to find receipts at Walmart and return the items.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
come on,
I mean,
man.
If you look at food, right? Food's the same way. If you're coming in and you're getting a porterhouse steak, obviously it's going to cost more if you're getting a skirt steak, right? I mean, they're both steak, though. They're both come from a cow. They're both meat. But
then there are people who don't know the fucking difference. We're just walking in and be like, cheap steak.
I'm not expecting them to know why it's different. I'm just expecting them to know that it's different. right?
All right,
It's
I
different.
understand, yeah, that they're different, but also
If I'm buying Kraft slices of cheese,
right, as opposed
clearly,
to like, I understand,
English cheddar is probably
better.
better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But that's the like Walmart was it supermarket sushi versus like an actual
Yes.
sushi place. Like,
yes.
I understand. There is a difference.
Hey, wait a minute. Our sushi is
no,
actually pretty good.
Shut your mouth.
Gas station sushi is probably more like it.
Listen, it's just that, yes, you're right. They should be able to recognize a difference, but they have $400 in their pocket and they want a white lip. So
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Instead, they're going to get that and then bitch about prices or tell me my prices are too high.
Well, like when you said about the lightning line, right? To me, the lightning line is sort of like one of those things. Yeah, I understand that. But like I could see somebody not knowing like what, like if I walked up to a Colubrid and they're like, I want to buy an Okatee corn snake. And they're like, well, this is the fancy Okatee hunt club, blah, 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 locality. Da, da. I'm going to be like,
I just want an Okatee.
I don't know what you just said, but sure.
Okay.
Sure.
That's the thing is like, if that's what you want, you're going to go get it. But instead, you have people who are trying to get as much bang for their buck. So what they're going to do is, like I said, they're going to bitch at me about my prices, about my white lips are too expensive, or they're going to say that I'm pricing in Northern at Southern prices, which, okay, that's adorable.
Right.
But, and then they're going to be like, I used to be able to buy this many. They're like, I understand that. I did that. But I've taken it to the next step. You got to understand is that these animals are on a different level, and that should reflect in their prices. Because you know what? If I start selling captive born and bred white lips at $400, Ryan Young is going to fly in here and kick my ass. Like it is. I mean, and you know what? I'd let him do it.
Wait.
So
where he's going to fly in for Garvin Fest? Where's McIntyre?
Where is he? Running.
Throat punch.
But that's just what it is. It's just like you need to understand that and then accept it. Like don't try to get all pissed off about it. So like, it would having a wild caught tag on stuff maybe help me. Sure. Do I care about it that much? No, because I know what I have and I know what I'm going to sell it for.
Yeah.
And I know why.
I guess I don't know. I don't know how. I've heard some of. I've listened to him on a couple different podcasts and whatnot, and he's talked about, just his approach to morph market and everything. And like, I think one thing that people don't understand is like, I know the first time I heard him talk, he talked about getting morph market and the whole brand and everything, and up on like SEO type of thing, and Google and whatnot, and trying to get it. And there's ways to do that. And it's kind of like what he's doing.
Right.
And, like making the goofy put, like you would see the whole time I was in Utah, I was just, in like a downtime, I would be reading his post or listening to a, podcast as I'm walking through going on a hike or something. And, I don't know. I kind of think like, I don't know how to feel about it, I guess, because I'm not really into the whole selling snake thing anymore. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It seems like to me, part of it is like a lot of people are bitching just because it's change.
Yeah.
And like somebody's actually sort of like taking charge and like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have yet to have one of our discussions and talk about it and get some different angles and inputs and stuff, so.
Yeah, it really, there's a lot of that stuff going around, like of like different ideas and different corners and stuff like that. And I think the bad thing to do would be to dig in your heels and be like, it should be done this way, because then you either hold back progress or progress just runs right over you. And also, you need to also understand is that, and this is true with a lot of reptile things, it's not just for the experienced herpers and things like that. We also need to talk about making it a good, easy place for, newbies to kind of come in and kind of learn. You got to cut your teeth somewhere, and it really helps if you help explain that.
So Tony he said, playing devil's advocate from a business side, looking to a customer service and coverage of one's own responsibility, it makes sense to require a label covering the business responsibly.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
it's because then you can never say that you weren't notified that it was a wild caught. Which now does that fall back on the company that owns the listing site or the people who put the list out? Because like,
well, it has to fall on the people that put the list out, but
exactly.
doesn't, like, if you're allowing them to sell it on your site, you have to have some responsibility.
Listen, if I go on Craigslist and sell a bunch of shaved cats as the hairless ones, it's on me, not Craigslist. So,
I think this is the pushback. What Lisa's saying is that she just doesn't like vilifying wild caught, especially since there's a lot of species that still aren't
I don't like it either
in the hobby. And I would agree. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Should newbie? Well, okay.
No.
I'm thinking this out loud. So, like, let me formulate my thought. Should new people be allowed? Should a seller sell a wild caught animal to a new person?
I know they care.
They probably don't.
Right.
But let's just say in a perfect world that they do, right?
Okay.
And I think that the problem with wild caught, and I don't know how we change this perception. I think that the idea with reptiles, as opposed to a dog or a cat, right? Let's say that I think a lot of people that are getting it from, like a lot of people that are getting it from, what am I going to say? What am I trying to say? Like, if you're looking at those reptiles as a disposable pet almost.
Right.
I mean, if you're buying it for your kids or whatever the case would be,
like a goldfish, you don't care what it does. It's just going to set it up and
sure. And like, maybe you see more of this, like, Riley in a shop or something like that. But I wonder how much of that, like, how do you change that perception that, okay, yeah, this is $100 more. I know we talk about it all the time, especially like you hear a lot from the chondro community, right? Because for a long time they had that. You didn't really see this as much with the carpets because we didn't have that wild caught population to pull from, right?
Right.
So you saw it more with scrubs and green trees and things like that, where you'll have like localities come in or certain phenotypes come in or whatever the case would be, and they're coming in and they're selling those, and should say they're selling it for $300, and then if you want to buy a captive born and bred chondro, you're looking at what, $700? It's probably $1,000 now. Who knows?
Yeah, but like, that's the time and effort of the breeder who put it in to get it bred.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing that it should be. I'm not disagreeing that it should be not the same price. What I'm saying though is that for that person that's coming in, they're looking at wanting to get a snake, and if they're say that like, oh, I like the green one, and it's like they don't really know the difference between the green one and the red one, or the Owen's got something going on there. Something's trying to get away.
No, I'm just turning off the fan. It's getting a little.
I gotcha. I thought maybe a snake had
loose
in the room.
One there, and there's 3 there. It's fine. If one of them is out, trust me, I won't even talk. I won't even stop the pause. I'll just start ripping through my house.
Yeah. So how do you get people to see that there's a value? Because clearly they're not getting the message, right?
Right.
Or maybe it's just because those people don't know that like the podcasts exist, or
well,
you know what I mean?
Problem is that, and the problem is we sit back there and we like to say that a newbie keeper should not necessarily get a wild caught animal, but some newbie keepers do have success with wild caught animals.
Sure.
It really just depends on the person.
Yeah,
and that's a person by person, animal by animal basis. So, but the majority of newbies probably shouldn't risk a wild caught, and we only say that because of what could potentially happen. You don't want to waste your money or have a dead animal or anything like that, or make a mistake and bring in a wild caught animal into your established collection and infect something. Like, there are things you should know before you risk a wild caught animal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we can sit here till we're blue in the face and tell you these things. You aren't going to listen until you experience that yourself.
I think though, Lisa's saying that she's a good example. I'm believing that she's saying that she's a good example of somebody that has a wild caught animal and a successful breeding them and
Both
establishing
her
them and all that.
black-faced white lips are wild caught.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yep. Her adults.
But there's a difference between Lisa as a keeper, right?
And just some random person. Lisa.
Well,
Lisa's
she's super into
exactly
it.
She is super into those animals. She
you know
pays
what I'm saying?
attention.
There's a difference.
But also she gave them what they needed. It was like she figured out what they needed. And
she did her homework. Yeah,
exactly.
So,
she didn't just sit there. She didn't just get them and be like, and now into the rack you go, and we'll see how you do. Like it was.
And I wonder how many. So this is a topic that we always talked about too, like where sometimes the price of some of those animals that aren't established, look at Bolin, stuff like that, are they, because of those price things, are they sort of staying out of the hands of people that could possibly be successful with them because they can't afford it, and then they're not getting established in captivity?
Maybe.
And then if you have only a certain amount of, like, let's say Papuan pythons, not the carpet, the actual Papuan
the other one,
pythons,
the
difficult
cool
species to breed, obviously a difficult species to keep, and as far as just the requirements for size and all that kind of stuff.
Also, the fun trick that they do, that if you do put them together, sometimes they like to, I don't know, murder each other.
Yes.
So yeah,
that's not fun.
No,
that's not a good day.
Imagine you spend all that money on those animals, all that time, and then she carves him up, and it's just like, oh God, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. We need wild caughts to establish. So there are no captive born and breds without wild caughts.
I think that's another thing that people don't understand. Like, I see a lot of newer people that they just don't get the idea. Like, they'll be
1 = 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, where do you think they came from?
Yeah. I don't know why. How do you think this got here? How do you think we got here? The problem is that they see her, when you enter herpetoculture, you enter it and you take like a snapshot of where it is.
Yeah.
So then you start making your opinions based off of what you know about herpetoculture, where you came in at, and how that changed. Like, smuggling is bad. Like, well, yeah, of course you say that because all the shit's here, but half the shit wouldn't be here if somebody didn't smuggle it.
Yeah.
Who's to say that so I have one captive born and bred white lip. Who's to say his descendants weren't smuggled in from somewhere? I mean,
ring pythons were smuggled,
right?
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Bearded dragons were smuggled.
It's so easy. It's so easy. I find this with just humanity in general. It's so easy to talk about the past and never have experienced the past. Like, somehow, things could have been worse or things were different or whatever the case. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just like, yeah, but this is all there was. So, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it's really easy to point the finger. Oh, that person's smuggling it or whatever. I love my Woma python. They're so nice. Like, what?
I can't. I love my Woma pythons. I don't know why anybody would smuggle anything.
I don't know. I'm not against wild caught at all. I've had plenty of wild caught animals. I think that in the right hands, they do great.
And you'll see it. If you ever are over at my place, there is an insane difference when setting up a quarantine and establishing a captive born and bred animal versus a wild caught. And I have several wild caughts. I recently just cleared my Dunai who were wild caughts.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a long road because even though they had been in captivity for a little bit, there was definitely more stressors with them. They have to, they're much twitchier. They don't establish themselves. But if you look at them versus like things like my Timor pythons, who were also wild caughts, but were brought in as babies, they are definitely much more established, but they're still a flighty species. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I guess, what is the argument though for not putting the wild caught label on it? Like, who really cares?
It would make I don't know. I don't know if it would just kind of maybe, like you said, potentially paint the animal in a not so good looking light, to which I don't understand. If it's a well established wild caught animal, does it really put it in a bad light? It's just a.
Is it a way to get rid of the Swatowski bullshit type shit? Is that
I
what
don't know,
the
because that's
idea
the
is?
problem. It's
Because
like I don't think so, because I don't think there's anything stopping you from, you label it as a wild caught, you can
you
still
want to
sell
stop
it.
him,
Yeah.
just stop
Well,
fucking
it
buying from
doesn't
him.
matter.
How
Like,
about that?
but it doesn't matter. It's like he could, like, people could still just list things as wild caught. Like, what does it matter? Well, the issue, I say, is that it shouldn't matter if it's listed as wild caught. It's like the condition of the animal that you get. So if I'm listing a bunch of white lips as wild caughts and people are buying them, I should get in trouble if what they buy is a skinny, emaciated, mite infested piece of crap. If it looks okay, what does it matter? And then I should be judged on the quality of the animal I'm selling. The issue is that if you are selling wild caughts, you now have to maybe take them a certain step further than you normally would in establishing them.
Well, I think if
But
I were going to recommend wild caught animals to anybody, the first person that I would send them to would be Dan from DM Exotics.
Yes.
The guy does his due diligence. He does what he's supposed to do. He makes sure that the animals are in top-notch condition. He knows the farms they come from. He knows the people that are on the farms.
Right.
He's visited those farms. He knows the conditions that those animals are kept in. He asks for specific stuff. He gets it. He's very transparent with what he's doing. And then you look at some of these other jobbers that come and they're not even selling what they're not even selling the animal that they're taking a picture of. And people still buy from them. And it's just like, I just don't get it, man.
But there's also a thing where it's like, what I have found with trying to sell reptiles is that somebody somewhere grabbed every single herper and pulled them aside and said, these are the questions you have to ask when you're buying an animal, regardless of what animal it is and what's going on. First is like, well, what's its temperament like? Who gives a damn? Like, it doesn't matter what its temperament is like. And then the other one, somebody asked me once, and it totally took me aback. They're like, is it a sound animal? And I'm like, a sound animal? And they're like, yes. Does it have any kinks? Did it have any issues? I'm like, well, I would put that in the ad if it had any kinks. Or I wouldn't list that animal at all. I would sell it as a D-grade animal to either a friend or a jobber, or give it away. Like, that's not something I put up there. And I'm a little insulted that you even asked. Like, I don't know why you would do that.
Right.
Oh, has it been tested for internal parasites? No. Why not? It's a captive born and bred animal. Like, I hatched the king rat. What are you talking about? Like, it's just, sometimes that's what people think they have to do. So, but those are questions you should ask if it's a wild caught animal. But then if those answers are yes, you should feel a little bit better. But again, there is a difference between establishing a captive born and bred animal and a wild caught animal.
Mm-hmm.
Both you can have success with, both can come crashing down around you. It really depends on the keeper. But I have no problem with wild caught animals, but would I be okay if I bought a captive born and bred animal and found out it was wild caught? No, I would be pissed. That happened to me once. Yeah. Dude, I bought a pair of Amazon tree boas, and I was told that they were a captive born and bred pair. Nope.
We're doing our own reptile fight club. Woohoo!
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So they said that they were captive born and bred, and you got them, and you found out that they were wild caught.
I was told that they were a captive born and bred adult pair. I got them, and then through the grapevine I talked to the person who sold them to the dealer that I bought them from, and found out that they were wild caught. So
do you think? So go ahead. What did you do?
Well, somewhere in translation is either the person who had them sold them to the jobber, telling them that they were captives, or leaving that, or leaving out the fact that they were wild caught, or the jobber left out the fact that they were wild caught and told me that they were captives to try to get a sale. everybody pointed the finger at everybody else in that instance, saying that they lied to me. Well, no, they lied to me, or I told them, they didn't listen. So nothing ever came out of it. I never got any more money. Like, I didn't get any money back. I held on to them for 2 years. They bred like crazy. I never got baby boas. And I was just like, bye. And I sold them. They were mean as shit, too.
Yeah.
Or boreal animals. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't. I guess to me, looking from the outside in, I sort of, I mean, what difference does it make if it says wild caught or not? Like,
I have no problem.
I don't understand like why the pitchforks coming out. And
what you should do is, if it's a wild caught animal, you need to keep your eye peeled on it, make sure it feeds right, make sure it sheds right, make sure it can gain weight, make sure that if there is an issue that you suspect parasites or some sort of illness, you deal with that up front. You extend their quarantine. They don't get a 60-day quarantine. They get a 90-day quarantine fucking minimum. And if it's a high enough dollar amount animal, you take that thing directly to the vet after getting it. And that's something you need to understand. But then also understand that after a year or so, that's on you. If my wild caught white lip crashes after 3 years with me, it's on me. I did something. Nothing to do with the fact that she's wild caught.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the other thing that gets lost on people is that we're not dealing with baseball cards.
No,
these things are alive.
Yeah.
So like sometimes they're going to die.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they're going to find
eventually
fun
they're all
inventive
going to die.
They're going to find
you know?
fun, inventive ways to die too. You know?
Yeah. I just wish there was a way to get to those people that, you know, because ultimately it would make the snake hobby better, right? Because you're buying captive born and bred and like you're supporting breeders, right? And then, you know, they're not having to deal with all the things that come with wild caught animals, you know, not saying that people can't work with them. I mean, obviously, if you do your homework, you can 100%. That's been done.
Everybody wants to have an animal that is, you know, easier to handle. Like if the first question is, how's the temperament? Why are you trying to get a wild caught white lip and be like, how's the temperament? It's not going to be good.
Yeah. And I think sometimes
you have a better chance of getting a nice one if it's a captive. It's not great chances, but it's better.
I get so. This is another tangent that I had in my brain to talk to you about.
You're just kind of going on.
When it comes to temperament.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, well, clearly, right?
Look at me. Do you think I care?
Yeah.
Do you think I care?
No.
Yeah. If anything, you can ask Lisa. She's like, yeah, which one? I'm like, I want the one that rips your face off and eats like crazy.
Yeah.
That I can work with.
You're a different kind. I don't want a different kind of herper.
I don't want the one that's in the corner being like, I would like to cuddle. Oh, I don't like the mouse. Yeah. No, I want the one that wants to eat and murder everything.
Right.
Give me that.
Do you think when it comes to species, do you think that we generalize those temperaments too much?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
dude, I could sell. I don't know what animal I could sell that people aren't going to ask me how the temperament is. It's the first fucking question. Madagascar hognose, what's the temperament like? Not good? Like, it's not good?
Is that a fair question for a new person to ask?
No, because who cares?
But I think they may be thinking. I think they may be thinking that they want to handle it.
But
to Robert's point, like, what would you do if you had tropical fish? Like, you don't handle them. Let me take it out of the tank.
What I'd like to know is,
goldfish.
Is the barracuda friendly? No, it isn't. Well,
if I put my finger in, can I pull the piranha out on my finger?
What if I tie a scarf that has been on my arm all day around his neck? It won't give a damn and be a little upset about it. Like, that whole thing is that people have the need and the want to hold it. The problem is that temperament changes so much and so quickly. How many times have you had an animal that plastic snake?
Yes.
How many times have you had an animal that you're like, it's cool, and then it comes here, I'm like, this thing wants to fucking kill me, or vice versa? Like Lisa was talking about with that goldfish. She's like, that white lip is so sweet. I'm like, are you serious? All of her siblings are pure evil. Like, they're flying out. But sometimes it changes in setting.
I think from the breeder's standpoint, I've always wanted, like you, Owen, I don't want a wimpy snake. I want a feisty snake. And if that means that I'm not going to be able to your
My
point, like cuddle with it, then so
my
be it,
favorite
you know?
my favorite response is, how is its temperament? It's a baby python. Like I don't
Yeah.
that's what it is. That's what
Yeah.
it is. If you are not prepared to deal with this animal and possibly take a bite from a baby,
Yeah.
you don't deserve it when it's a 7-foot adult.
I remember when Dave and Tracy Barker were on Reptile Radio, and they mentioned something about, ball pythons being bitey.
They're evil.
And I believe it was Tracy, and she's just like, first of all, if you're working with a python of any type and you expect to go through life and not be bit by this snake, you should not be dealing with pythons.
Dude, what is it? Last weekend.
Yeah.
I got nailed by one of my adult olive pythons.
Oh, how was that?
It tickled.
Yeah, sure it did. Where did it get you? Chest? Hand?
Hand. Stupid feeding mistake. She
always is.
It is. She went for the rat. I dropped it on the shelf, and I had the tongs. And normally I feed them with these really long tongs, but I didn't. I had the normal ones because I was rushing, and I thought I had enough room. And I went to grab the rat again, and she nailed my hand and wrapped me and the tongs. And she was bending my fingers against the tongs, so I was able to hold her. So she stopped doing that, and then Melissa came in and
yelled at you.
I mean, we'll get to that. But it was, and from the door opening, the wind kind of got her to just let go.
Okay.
And she let go, and I put her back in her cage, and she immediately bit and ate the rat. And I'm bruising very nicely on my hand. She got me on the knuckles, which those are always my.
Ooh. Yeah.
God, I love knuckle bites.
Then you punch the wall because it hurts so bad.
Yeah,
and you're like,
ah! Yeah. So why do I keep doing this? But I've never been bit by that animal in her entire life. Pulling eggs from her, I never got bit. But
it's a feeding response.
It's a feeding response. It's a thing. And also, I'm not perfect. I'm going to fuck up. This is why I don't have cobras.
That's what I was say. This is why Owen.
This is why.
Anytime Owen talks about
rattlesnakes, no. You know
we
what,
all
buddy?
say intervention time.
If you can go a year without getting bit by your snakes, Owen, you can have a rattlesnake. Okay. Yeah. Well, not this year.
No.
So it's just what it is. So when people are like, how's its temperament? It's not great. It's a baby snake that I know. It's a baby snake that I don't work with and I don't handle. Could you, after purchasing it, work with it and get it to a handleable state? Of course. Am I going to do that for you? No. I have 200 babies.
Yeah. Do you think that will ever change, though?
No. It's
so,
always that. It's always.
I've heard
that is the most important question in people's minds because it is the first question they ask. Not what is it eating? When was it hatched? How long since its last feed? How are you keeping it? How is its temperament? Is number one. First thing out of their mouths.
This reminds me of what is
I don't like face biters.
Hangover movie where they shoot Zach Galifianakis in the face, and he's like, "In the face."
No, that was Will Ferrell. That was in Old School or something. Yeah, he got the dart right in the neck, and he's like, yeah. Oh no, you're right. That was
he shot him with the taser in his face. Yeah, he's like, he's the little chubby kid gets up and he shoots him. He's like, oh shit, he's going for the face.
Oh God,
the face.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Have I been bitten by? Yeah, I think I have been bitten by a scrub in the face. I don't think you can have scrubs and not have been bitten in the face.
When was my last face bite? It's been a while.
That hurt.
Yeah, it does.
Thank God I had glasses on.
Yeah. We were all standing there. We were standing there with a Malukin and Foley, and we're all just talking, and all of a sudden he's just bleeding from his chin. Yeah. And we're all like, what? And the snake is going back, and we're like, we didn't even see it. That's how quickly it happened. All of a sudden, he's just like, "Oh shit!"
Didn't that happen like the first time I went to Site B? He started pulling out white lips, and he was like holding one like this, and it's just
nailing him,
like right nailing him on the head, and I'm like, "What the hell is wrong?
Why would you want these things?" Like, I'm like, "Aren't they cool?" You're like, "No."
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Tony's saying yellow anacondas are especially nippy.
I mean, yeah, that tracks. I believe it. Jesus.
Oh boy. Yeah. I don't know. That was just a weird side tangent that
it took an hour.
Yeah. Well, even just the temperament of snakes. It's weird because like I've noticed like with handling wild caught snakes that are supposed to be mean are not.
They don't want to do it. But
why are they not mean?
The problem is that, and again, it's an animal by animal basis. Does the animal feel threatened?
Right.
Like, yeah. So
there's so many factors
that
come into play.
And I think that, say if you were to like lose your temper and like slam a snake into a bin or something like that, I think it remembers that. Like, and I think the next time you open that bin,
it's like, I'm coming after you.
It's like, oh no, you that hurt. This time I'm coming for you. Like, I think they remember that. So,
like, as far as carpets go, so it's weird, right? Here's a weird one. Poplin carpets. When you would have the ones that we had in captivity, and you would be buying captive born and bred, that have been there for a couple generations, they're super mellow,
Right.
Especially when you compare it to a jungle. But as soon as you get like F1s in the mix, dude,
blood.
Like what is going on? Like they rear up like the Savu. They're like tiled in,
I will
in
say
a tight coil, and they're like, "Oh, I'm coming after you."
I will say that it is very easy to mistake a over eager carpet for an aggressive carpet. Like, the difference between an aggressive carpet is like you were talking about. We're talking like double S. We're talking sitting up. We're talking looking at you no matter what's going on. An over eager carpet is when you open the drawer and it just bites every time, because this is the door that opens when food comes. It's like I have a super caramel that I have to open its cage like with the hook standing back over here. Like, just
I love those
because she comes flying.
Yes.
And the problem is that it used to be adorable. Now it's getting a little bit of a problem.
Yes.
Because some asshole keeps feeding her.
Yes.
So
she's learning.
Yeah.
Let's see this side. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Richard makes a good point. Once they decide they're not a threat, they usually calm down. I think that's with baby snakes and just in general, right?
All baby snakes are scared until they hit about that. With carpets, they say when they hit about a year old is when they're going to start calming down. But then the problem is they also start realizing that they don't need to be afraid of you because they have all this muscle and teeth and length. So that's when they can easily become not the defensive, more of the aggressive. So you have to watch out for that.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about crazy snakes. I mean, back in the day, like, my dad had wild retics. Holy shit!
How your father is still alive just astonishes
Holy
me half the time.
Shit! Yeah, I know.
He's like, there was the one time that Burmese python tried to kill me in front of our, he wrapped me up, and I was standing on top of a Western Diamondback to make sure I had enough reach. It's like, Jesus Christ! Yeah. So that's when my crocodile saved me.
He almost got bit by some kind of pit viper. Some kind of tree,
But like, but the other part is that back in the day, he's like, I was messing around with a tree viper. Did you have any chance of any venom if that went poorly for you? Like, the zoo might not have even had that shit.
No.
Jesus Christ.
It was a different time back then.
Your father was, man.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
It's so different.
You
like have to have a secret knock to go into the reptile room. Like, you go into the pet shop and it's all like, furry things and, it's like, the 3 knocks, come in.
Dude, it's like, because here's the thing is, like, I grew up, I mean, I was still young when Martin's Aquarium was still around.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really into reptiles at the time. So I'd go there to check. These things happen. So, I mean, I'd go there and check stuff out. But I was like, oh, look, baby alligators. I don't even know how much cool shit I was just walking past that I didn't even register.
I know, right?
Like, I'm like, and I wish to God I could have those days back.
Yeah. Don't you wish you could just like,
Yes,
like just go back and like
with my
observe,
brain.
you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Oh,
you're like,
God.
you idiot. Why
Like,
are you
they're
walking
right
past
there.
that page?
They're
It's
right
growing
there.
belly.
It's like that's a freaking emerald tree boa for
It's
$100. Get it.
Oh.
It's, yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's that was yeah, it's just a different time. The only thing that I can remember clearly, and I've talked about this before, was at Martin's Aquarium, you know, where they had the reptiles in the in like that back corner.
Yep.
And they had the iguana that was
Yep.
up on the like just up on that, I guess it was like a bird perch or something, but it just lived up on that perch. And it just every time you go into the shop, it's like, oh wow, look, that's an iguana. Like, holy shit. That's so cool.
There were a few times I thought that thing was stuffed, like, and they would just move it.
Yeah.
But no, he was alive.
And then, so yeah, they had Burmese python eggs, and they just kept them in the cage, underneath the light.
Dude, the problem is that I remember such things. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you were ever at those shows, but I remember going to a Hamburg show where they had the acrylic displays like I have, with like the 3 slots on the top, and inside the slots were Burmese python eggs, and the babies were hatching. And you could buy the baby, and they would remove it from the egg for you, put it in a deli cup, and then take it. That's yours.
Wow, that's like that turtle that they ship in the bread, man. They ship you like a turtle egg.
Like, I mean, like that's, and you know what? It's very much like the carnival goldfish. One will live to be 100. The rest will die very quickly. Like, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, the berm was patching out, and that's sort of like, I think, why pythons just imprinted on me so much. I want to say I was probably like 6 or 7 years old, maybe 8, somewhere in that area.
The weird thing is, like, you got to understand, you got to remember, is that my love of snakes did not start till college.
I know.
Yeah, so
which is strange.
It is. I had
no wonder you have so many snakes. You got to make up for lost time.
Something like that.
Now we figured it out.
Now we all know it was. I was afraid of snakes because I was walking with my cousins once, and there was a water snake that shot past me to go back to the creek, and I freaked out and fell down an entire embankment of shale, and just carved myself up. So of course I blamed the snake for forever, until I started kind of figuring out that really wasn't its fault, and I kind of started getting interested. And then what really pushed it over the edge is Foley was my roommate in college, freshman year, and we had never met before, and he was plugged into snakes, so he starts bringing rat snakes and stuff to the dorm rooms, and I start checking them out and handling them, and of course I'm like, this thing is awesome. And the problem is that when you go to an animal school and you sit down and they're like, what does everybody want to work with? And everybody says large cats. It's like, well, that's fucking boring. Like, no, I want to work with the other shit. Like, let me go this road. So you do that. And then I started when you start plugging yourself in, dude, it just goes.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I know.
But yes, I am late to the game, and I have far too many animals. Yes, people need to come and buy snakes, because I need to make room for babies, because once again, I have produced too many eggs. So
yeah, well, let's talk about your. I wanted to talk about your rhino rats that you
the rhinos not hatched, not yet,
or not
laid,
hatched.
Eggs laid. Yeah. Yep. This is the 4th year for rhinos. I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When you sent this picture, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." She's
up in a plant, just kind of chilling. I bought this fern at Walmart. It was on sale because it was dying, and I'm like, "Good. This will be," because like I try to keep it alive as best I could, but she's already killed it just by laying in it and it not getting the proper amount of sunlight or water that a fern should get. But yep, there she is.
That's cool.
When Matt was over, she was moving all around, and we could count. We could count every single one of the eggs in her. And she just did, like, that night. She kind of just settled, and I knew it was coming. So She started in early afternoon and just started laying eggs, and I'm like, perfect, nice. So she got 10.
I like that blue she has coming in on the
Yeah,
side. That's
she's
nice.
pretty. But
Very
that's the
nice.
problem is like people are like, is she high blue? Got blue on her. Is she blue line? I don't fucking know. Like, yeah, she's a rhino.
You're talking to the wrong NPR
Yeah.
network guy.
Yeah, dude. I got rhinos from Buddy Buscemi, and I've bred them. Are they blue? They're gray when they hatch. Like I don't. But it's cool because now I have her. Was it last year we got a good clutch? The year before we only got one baby to hatch, and it was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept that one. And then this past year, I traded Mike Curtin for rhinos. So now I have an unrelated female and a semi-related female because it was a different mom that produced the boy. So I'm building up another trio just so I can just have more rhinos. And I'm like, well, that'll be cool. I'll set them up. Don't know where yet, but yeah, I'll set them up someplace.
Right.
So, but dude, I dig them.
Yeah, they're cool snakes, man. They're such interesting looking snakes, you know.
They are so unassuming
Mm-hmm.
and so people friendly. It's ridiculous. I've had people come over the house that hate snakes,
Mm-hmm.
but they want to check out the rhinos cruise around.
Do you think it's the nose?
It has to be the nose.
Yeah.
It has
well,
to be.
What is it?
Well,
it's not a nose, it's their
the horn. It's
horn?
the scales.
Yeah, scales.
But like the Barons have a horn, and they don't like them. Like it was.
Yeah, but they're aren't they? They're not as pointed.
The horn,
right?
yeah. The Barons' horns is smaller. Plus, Barons racers all on their own are just faster. Yeah, like they just seem faster. It's like it's like looking at a black racer versus a black rat snake.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, people just like to watch them, and it helps having the setup. It's almost like having a zoo-like enclosure where people just want to come and check them out.
Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Yeah, possibly.
The fact that
if I had them in a drawer, I think people wouldn't really care too much. The fact that it's in like this big planted tree thing, and you can see one of them curling up in a plant or hanging low or coming out of the ceiling hide helps.
Yeah, because you get to, especially in the cage that you have, you get to like, especially if they'll see them moving around. You know what I mean? Like, you know, climbing up, and like, if you really stop to think and like look at a snake and its ability to like just like almost stretch its entire body into space, and you think about like how difficult that is.
But the thing is that
how much muscle strength that takes.
But this,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. But this is the funny part. Because they're vicious animals. They will bite everything that's in front of them. They're wanting to just
rhino rats.
Yeah, my rhinos are crazy. The rhino bit Melissa when we were trying to pull the eggs. They're horrible. They'll bite anything. But yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going. I don't know.
No, it's done. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. They'll bite anything. All right.
Will. Do I have any pictures of the enclosure? I've taken numerous pictures of the enclosure. I don't know if I have any recent ones or anything that's like still on my phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nope, those are all puppies.
Let me see.
That's an Owen Pelly python.
Oh, it's a fun picture.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have any.
I do.
Yep.
I just typed in. It's so crazy how technology works. I typed in Birdsboro into my phone,
and it popped up,
and there we go.
Birdsboro. Yes, that is it. That is it. Way back there. Oh, that's an old version. That's an old version. Yeah.
That might even that's not. Oh yeah, no. There's
that's the same thing. Yeah, but you're missing. I got big tall plants in the back now, and I got a hanging plant out front, which is of course where she put the eggs. So yeah.
I think I have. Yeah, here's like what you did with the wall.
The wall was just spray foam, and then cork
bark and
there's spray foam with cork bark, and then a bunch of silicone and some moss and some cocoa husk, but then like I embedded a tree limb in there. You can see this thing up front that's kind of got those hosta looking leaves. Those are all fake plants. And that's a big tube of cork bark that I put spray foam in the middle along with some other stuff. So it's almost like a tree. And then it's got limbs coming off of it, and it's got the bamboo. So they can kind of go. And then up at the top, it's not in this one, but there is a ceiling hide for them too, which they absolutely love. They are a 100% arboreal species. I have never seen them on the ground unless they are laying eggs. And since I started giving them fun places to lay their eggs up high, they don't do it. So,
right.
Yeah.
I remember this. Was it this snake? That was this snake. I love this snake. Since we're in Birdsboro.
Oh, I was thinking about it. Yes, that is Deadpool. Yeah, and Deadpool is a red tiger that was produced by Francis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that black and that orange and the khaki still there. You know.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
And he looks very good. Do you know who he's going to go with in a year or two?
V baby.
V-girl. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good pairing. Oh shit, you're doing Molly V 2.0.
Molly V to a MBB red tiger. Yep.
Oh, here we go. Owen's favorites.
I have many favorites. Oh, the Blue Beauty snakes. Yeah, they suck.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the problem with them is that they're both girls.
So, yeah, that's kind of a problem.
I have a boy. He needs time. Do I cohab them year round? Yes, I do. The male might get pulled for maybe a week or two after eggs if he becomes too much of a dick when I'm trying to feed her. Because the problem is that if I feed him as much as I try to feed her, he's already huge. That is a baby from 2 years ago. He's much more green now.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. That thing doesn't.
2020.
That's not even here anymore.
But yeah, I mean, look at their nose, man.
Yeah.
Or their whatever
you
want.
The horn. Yeah. It's like, and they're such a cool species. And I have never. This is the first year I've ever had to list a rhino rat snake, and I think it's just because a lot of people are balking at the price right now. Because
what did it go for?
$650.
Okay.
Right now, listen. It is a fish scented fuzzy feeding rhino rat snake. It is $650.
Yeah, that's
okay.
I don't know.
I'm not like, if you want it for cheaper, get at me this year when they're still eating minnows, and you can have it for cheaper.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's talk about this snake. Let's get back into my wheelhouse.
Oh yeah. Look, an IJ. Which I'm going to need your help because I hatched out those albinos, and I can't tell which is a caramel albino and which isn't. Ah, yes. So this came out of an egg here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Recently, right?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
We're looking at an axanthic caramel something or other. So it was a caramel jag head axanthic crossed to a caramel head axanthic. So this is the jag that came out with the really bright colors. There is another jag that is kind of darker, and then everything else is a super caramel something.
So this is a jag?
Yeah. Because you can tell from the head pattern that it is a jaguar.
Yeah.
You feel
it's
good
got
about
a busy pattern.
Anyways.
No. Like the pattern is busy for a jag.
No, the mom had a busy broken, like she didn't have like the classic jag pattern, that female. She kind of had a lot of stuff on her. And the other jag has actually got even more of a busy pattern. He's got some saddles that are kind of defined, but definitely not as defined as the other ones. Yeah. So that's him. He's staying. He's not allowed to leave. Him and the entire fucking clutch is staying because I need to figure out what the hell I'm looking at.
Right.
Luckily there was only 6. So there's 5 boys and a girl.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's the only one that came out looking like that. And he's just fucking nuts. It's just it's weird, and this is the stuff I live for, because it's like, what is it? I don't know. Like I guess I should figure that out, but I'm gonna need him to shed a couple times.
Well, I think that's where, you tell me, isn't this where the whole, the morph thing is sort of like why people do it, right? They do it because they're always like, oh, what am I going to hatch out? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and I understand that, which, I hatched a clutch of, tiger head axanthic to tiger head axanthic.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, tiger posset, hatched them out. And I'm pretty sure I got one tiger axanthic just because it's got white eyes.
Okay.
And is blue. And then I got a bunch of other stuff that's kind of blue, kind of got bright eyes. And then I got a couple stuff that, like, it's a pretty tiger, but its color's not right. So it's like, all right, well, and like I told you earlier, it's easier to tell when they're all together. When you separate them, you're like, I don't fucking know. So with him and his siblings, it's very easy to tell that each one is just weird, just straight weird.
Right.
Either some of the best and brightest super caramel stuff I've seen, or this mixture of blues and other stuff that I don't normally see on a super caramel. I've hatched plenty of super caramels and super caramel jags. I know what I'm looking at. This is not right. And I have an axanthic jag I hatched 3 years ago. He doesn't look like that. He didn't look like that when he was a baby either. So, yeah.
That's that's cool, man. Yeah. I know that's been a project you've been after for
it's been a
long
project
time.
But then, like, the problem is that I'm also interested more in, I'm pissed that the female is a jag, and I think she's just a super caramel jag. I'm not sure if you got any axanthic or anything like that in her, because all the other boys are like super caramel, striped, tigery, kind of cool patterned. And I'm like, cool, great. This will be hard. Thank you. Like, yeah, I just wanted, like, it would be so much easier if it was like, and the female is a super caramel weirdo too.
Right.
Like, it was, yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, Lisa. Look at that head stamp.
That's how you can tell it's a jaguar. God, but
I think the new, I think you've given up on Bigfoot now. If I say the word head stamp, you want to punch the wall.
Listen, like what we were describing with, what was Rob saying to me yesterday? He's like, your misfortune is what entertains everybody. It's like, yeah, just adding to it. It's just layers upon layers at this point.
It's true.
But yeah, no,
we blame Jim.
I do. I do
for everything.
But, so the problem is like, so last year I kept a pair of super caramels back.
Okay.
Because I got a really, really good looking girl, and then I lost and they were caramel posset axanthics, if you want to get real into it. I kept the girl back because she was stunning, and then I lost my male, this guy's father. He actually just he passed out of nowhere. And so I'm like, all right, well, I got to keep a boy. So I kept the boy, which is a brother to the two that I gave you. And I'm like, all right, well, now it's like, well, do I need him anymore? Because I got this guy and I got his siblings, which are all males.
I was going to ask, like, what do you do now? Where do you go with the project?
This is why it's like, I say keep 1.1, because you can always sell a hold back a year or two later. Like, so he's definitely staying.
Okay. Because
I have enough axanthic stuff and I have enough caramel stuff that he will be useful. Like, I have a tiger 100% posset axanthic that I want to use.
Right.
Obviously I have tons of super caramel stuff. I have that one super caramel posset axanthic. She's not a jag. He is. That might be good.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess you would refine it at that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, also one of the axanthic tiger things that I'm looking at is a female. So maybe we hold on to her. Even though I so wanted to get out of coastal axanthic shit. Like, I really did. But now I think what I'm going to end up doing is just getting my collection to the point where it's like I'm done with all the hets and the possets. Everything in here is a fucking Exanic or it's gone. Like as in like 100%.
Yeah, if you want to do that kind of project and have space, you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like it's whatever. Plus, I have that one head Exanic female that just has never laid. And I'm like, you need to go. You need to go. But the problem is that I don't have
sell it, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. How do you sell it? And also, I don't have any animals that really need to move her out of her cage. It's getting close. It's really getting close. I think in the next year, I'm going to have adult animals that need cage space. And then she will leave because I will put something else in there. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
The Jenga snake. Yeah, it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do with this?
Move this, move that. But then there's other things that are involved in that. Like, so I have the 3 cages for the roughies up here. And all those are part of my original stacks of cages. So they're weird sizes. So I couldn't find anybody to rebuild those to replace them downstairs. So what I did is I just ordered more 3-foot cages. So I'm going to replace the roughies cages so that those cages can move downstairs because I have my rainbow boas that are getting too big.
I forgot you had those.
I know. Everybody forgets.
And now you're getting Argentine boas.
Argentine boas. I got Dunai that are going to need cages. I have 3 or 4 females that are going to be pushing on adult sides that need to move up. So a lot of animals that are in 3-foot cages are going to move into 4-foot cages, and 4-foot cages are either going to get sold. It's
dude, you need to build a big barn down at the end of your slope.
I need to move into a bigger place. The problem is that if I move into a bigger place, she's going to start talking about cows and capybaras and other shit.
Well, you have to, have to balance the space, man. Just fill it up quick.
I've done so well with this so far, right?
Yes. Yes, your space management is. I mean, I will say it's quite on point.
That's what Matt said. The first thing Matt said when he comes downstairs is he sees the tortoise pen and he goes, "You know how many cages you could put in that spot?" I'm like, "I am aware, thank you." Like it is. Yes, I do.
What did he think of the collection since the last time he's been there?
He was walking around. He's like, "Dude, I've seen carpets, all your shit. Show me the other crap." I'm like, "All right." So he's like, "Yeah, there you go. That's cool. How are the babies?"
What did he like the most?
He liked the Chinese king rats. He's like, I can dig these. These things are like cobras if they stayed this size. I'm like, actually, they get this big. He goes, nope. Like, nope, no, thank you. He liked the rainbows. He was digging the Mad Hogs. We checked out the Blue Barons Racer. He liked her. Let me see. Let me think about what else we were kind of checking out. False Water Cobra.
What did he think of his retech?
Crebo. He's like, yeah, my girl's about the same size. I'm like, okay, good. I'm not a monster.
Super dwarf.
He's like, yeah. He's like, he's looking to get rid of her. And I'm like, well, if you know somebody that's good that really wants them, like I don't want to sell her. Let's put it this way. I do want to sell her, but I don't want to sell her to the wrong person. I want someone who's really going to take care of her.
Yeah,
buy her off of me, and I don't want to go out there and have to weed through people to find this person. I want them to come to me.
That's the trouble with big snakes, right? Like when you have them and then you go to sell them as adults, if you do sell them, right?
Even then, it's like I don't really want to sell her. But the problem is that, if I do get the Argentines, when I get the Argentines from Keith.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to eventually need large cages. So that means we have to start making some hard decisions.
Yes.
1, do we ditch a pair of olive pythons? Because I do have 2.2. Will that affect the breeding of olive pythons if I ditch a pair? Because most of the people I know who have 1.1 don't get eggs.
So you think that olive pythons, the key to one of the spokes in the wheel, if you will, is having that extra male.
It might help. Yeah.
Not an extra female per se, but extra male.
Boy competition. Right. Now, that being said, out of my 2.2, I have 1 proven male, 1 idiot, and 2 proven females. So how much work is he really doing here?
Well, he's decided he's the subordinate one.
Clearly
he's in his role.
He's the tease pony. He comes in and pisses the stallion off and then leaves. Like, yeah, I know. I don't know. So do you do that? Do I take out this desk back here and just start building cages here and accept my fate?
I think that's where you're at, buddy.
I think it's where my brain is. Yeah,
I think that's.
I think if I ditch this desk, I can fit 2 8-footers right there.
What is the size of your retic? How big is it?
My retic? She's
10 foot.
Yeah, 10 or 11 footer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Retics, big snakes.
Dude, she was a fun thing to do, and she's a fun thing to have, but you know, it's one of those things where I do have time before the Argentines get big. Like I'm talking about moving the Crebo.
Yeah.
Move the Crebo so I can move the Chinese king rats out to bigger cages, and I can move my pine snakes onto cages that don't have heat panels, so I can use those cages for more pythons. Cool. All right. The Timors took very well to being moved into cages.
Okay.
I thought
these are the ones from Rob?
Yep. These are the ones from Rob that I kept in a rack like 2 years after I got them from Rob because I was nervous.
Touchy. Yeah.
They do very well. They will not eat off tongs. You leave the rat and then you run away from them. But they will eventually need 6-foot cages.
Yeah. Yeah.
I only have a limited number of cages, man. Like, you know.
I know. Poor Mort might have to live in the yard.
He does, but he can't do that in the wintertime.
Well, he can.
I mean, he can do it once.
Make him a hole.
Yeah, we'll just bury him in the yard and we'll come get him later. But
it gets pretty cold up there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different stuff. So like, and that just comes down to it, just like, do we eventually start talking with somebody about setting up an offshoot collection, the Site B almost? Does my office turn into like nothing behind me but snake cages?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
In which case, what was the point of putting the rough scales up here if I'm going to move everything else up here? So
yeah. Decisions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't
make these decisions. Yeah, I'm glad you don't have to do this.
No.
Well, it just comes down to it, man. It's like, what am I willing to part with? What am I willing to do? What friends do I have?
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. Oh, like what friends you have that you give snakes to?
Well, yeah,
sort of close.
Right. I like that idea of like, I'm going to get rid of this project, but I want to keep it nearby. Or like, dude, Talon hasn't been here in years. Talon's with Buddy. And all Talon does is produce like 1 or 2 clutches a year with Buddy. And I take like one baby. But that one baby was that red thing that I got from last year where it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
yeah, that was nice.
God, like, thank God I didn't just straight up sell his ass.
Yes.
Like, you know, because then I would be missing out on that kind of stuff. But like, this is why most of the large snake people have huge collections and massive rooms, but they're always selling adult animals because you need to make room for the ones that are coming up.
Especially if you're doing morph thing.
Right. But you need to make those choices, you know? So do I eventually get out of insert animal project here to make room for something?
I think eventually you will.
I'm going to have to. I already called Crebo.
I think there's those, what's the word I'm looking for? There's projects that you're doing to breed and sort of say, okay, I've had these for this long. I've invested all this time into it. Let me get a shot at breeding. And then you breed it, and then you're like,
okay, all right, get the hell out. Like, yeah,
right.
Crebo right up in there. Get the hell out. So,
right.
But now we're going into it is that eventually you start trimming that fat, and then you're out of fat. So,
yeah,
who goes? If you have all right, I have a limited number of 6-foot cages. I only have 9 of them, and then I have 3 8-foot cages. And in those cages are olive pythons, my black-faced white lips, my gold-faced white lips, and my Crebo.
What would I get rid of?
So now we're already removing the Crebo.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then we've freed up 2 6-foot cages that are going to be filled with Chinese king rats. The issue is, the issue is, and here's the issue. I have 4 more gold-faced white-lip that are growing. I have 2 more black-faced white-lip that are growing. I have 2 Timor pythons. And then I'm going to have 2 Argentines.
My feeling with you would be that
So I have
white lips are sort of your thing.
Can't get rid of white lips.
They've been your thing for a long time.
Cannot get rid of white lips.
They got to stay.
Yep.
Timor pythons. I don't know. I hear you talk about them, but I don't know.
But they're the next hill, man.
Yeah.
They're the next conquerable thing.
So then why don't you just move the olives on?
But I've produced olives. I like olives. Olives are easy. So do you slim the olives?
2012.
I mean,
you 2023 say olives are easy.
Yeah. Do you knock the olives down to a pair to free up 2 cages, and then what do you put in those 6-foot cages? Because could white lips be kept in 4-foots?
I guess you could.
Probably could.
What are they? 7 foot?
It depends. If you let
6,
them get
7
that
foot?
big. Yeah.
5 to 7 foot.
If you let them get that big. So, I mean, the golds probably, blacks, I don't know. Would keeping them in those cages.
It would be tight, but yeah.
But keeping in those cages, would that prevent them from breeding?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Especially if you change it up what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, and then again, this is just the mindset that I'm in, right? And this was my hardest thing I've had to decide in all of the time. It's like, what do I cut? Oh, let's cut these out. Oh, but I love them.
Right.
Let's get rid of berms. Yeah, but I love berms. Let's get rid of the Angolans. Yeah, but I've always wanted them, and I've loved them.
And that's the other problem. I have other shit that is like, so the problem is that I have these things butting up against the big cages, but then I have other shit butting up against the other cages. Angolans, ring pythons, rainbow boas, carpets. I had to move up all my babies from 2 years ago into bins because I needed to free up the 15s to move in the babies from last year.
How big is your carpet python collection now?
I don't know.
50 more? 50 more than 50?
It's weird because it's
not counting babies. I'm talking like stuff you're holding back.
No,
adults that you have.
50, something like 50? That. It probably sounds probably good because there's a lot of youngsters. I have let go a couple of adults, and I did have some that passed and stuff like that. So there are a lot more youngsters, which is why I'm like taking that year off next year of breeding carpet pythons. Is actually just going to help. No, damn it, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
No, it's gonna happen.
Put a pin in that one.
Yeah, put it in. There will not be a single carpet python born here.
Sure.
Shut up.
Knowing you and knowing what makes you tick and what makes you happy, I would say that you should cut your carpets down. And I know that sounds like blasphemy.
No. We've had that conversation because it's like,
but I think you like the spice, the variety.
I do. If you'll see in the next couple of years, it's definitely more of falling back onto caramel stuff, super caramel stuff, and tigers. I have 2 male tigers that I produced. I got to send you the pictures of the one. He's neon yellow. Like, he is yellow. Nice. Gorgeous. And I'm like, okay. And then he's got a brother who is red. So like yellow, red, but exactly the same. And they will be my tigers moving forward. Like those are my boys. Those are the ones that I'm going to mix in with a bunch of stuff. And then all the super caramel stuff that I have coming, and the tiger jag stuff I have growing up. It's all right there. It's all my wheelhouse stuff. It's where do you cut the line? Like looking at
caramel albino, that's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, I did it. Listen,
jungle jags.
I did the caramel. I did the caramel albino. I did the caramel albino with the albino. That's done.
Okay.
I cannot get rid of jungles. Jungles are such an easy thing, and people absolutely love jungles.
I'm not saying jungles. I'm saying zebra. Out. It's got to go. Get a nice pair of jungles.
The zebra jaguar?
Zebra jag out.
Okay.
Gotta go.
I have zebras that I held back.
Okay.
That are
I
black
think they
and
still
yellow.
gotta go.
No, they stay.
No, they stay. Stay?
No, not these zebras.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Hoarders, and I'm telling
shut
you,
up.
like,
all right, yeah, I understand it. Listen, I know.
Roman, you have to get rid of that. No,
I don't. No, I don't. I might use that later. But but I think you're right. Maybe zebra jag. Then it kind of goes down to it is like
anything cross has got to go. Any kind of cross, any kind of
cross by new literature or old literature.
Doesn't matter. Any literature. Anything that's crossed. See you later.
But then we have the Brisbanes.
Okay. I would probably keep those. They're coastal. That's your thing.
Yeah.
This is like an intervention.
But then we that ship has sailed. But then it's like, all right, well, I've tried numerous years with water pythons.
They got to go. Get a new pair.
Yeah.
Send them out.
Yeah.
Or wait till somebody like, I don't know, me
sells
Keith,
a pair.
Rob,
Yeah. Somebody else.
Rob have water pythons? No. Mine are growing up. Maybe a year or two. Lucas has them. Exactly. So it's not like you can't get them.
I could ditch my evil water python.
But you've been trying to breed that thing since
she's such a bitch. I hate her so much.
Ow. She gotta go.
Yeah. Yep. And then you get into like blue beauty snakes, false water cobra, mad hogs. I think I'm gonna cut down to just the giants because I had success with the blondes, which was cool, but I haven't had any success with the speckleds. And the blondes seem to be one of those things where it's like that was cool to have, but the babies were like pulling teeth. So
yeah,
I'll stick with the giants.
It's hard, man. What I did is I made a list, and I was like, "This is the list that I cannot part with."
Well, all right. Well, then, like, do you part with bread? Do you part with breadline?
I don't know. I mean, for you, I kind of think for breadline for you are, I mean, I'm not saying you don't like them. And clearly you like them.
Right?
You've bred them a couple times.
Years. Yeah.
Are they something you're super excited about?
Yeah, it's a red carpet. Yeah.
I don't see you super excited about them.
I like them.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm sort of basing it off of like when I talk to you, what are the things that you typically talk about? It's like with me, right? I'm typically talking about specific type of snakes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're going to be like, oh, Eric would never part with those.
Right.
Eric will never part with those. Eric will never part with those. So it's like, those are the things that's how I kind of weeded through it. And it's like, okay, this got to go. This got to go. This got to go.
This year I'll have stonewash.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the
is that cool? Is that something you want to do?
I mean, it's something. It's cool,
right?
It's something that I've been like. I got the normal breadlie just to see if I could do breadlie, and then that's all I've been doing was normal breadlie, and then you tossed a stonewash at me. I am the monster that you made me, sir. Like it is.
I'm trying to help you now.
No, you're not. You're trying to fix what you did. It's like, oh god. You're up in the desert, and Rob says, like, you did this to him. And you're like, oh God, no. Like, yeah. But so I've been kind of pushing that stone uphill because the unfortunate part is that it's a recessive. So I made the hets, but I didn't keep any because what was I going to do? Raise a breadlie up to adult size? Like, no, I don't.
See, like,
but I got the het stonewash from Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
So now I bred him to her, and now I have the potential of stonewash. Cool.
Yeah. Right.
Where do I go with the project after that?
I think it's just you see, to me, like for me, it's more than just like, okay, I'm breeding this. Where do I go from there? It's like, I really like the species.
I think everything has to have a project has to have a purpose.
Sure.
Like the problem is that with certain things, all you're doing, the purpose is just to recreate it. There's nowhere I can go with olive pythons. What do I do? Just make more olive pythons.
And you still want them in your
because they're fucking cool. So that's there. But so with breadlie, it's like, all right, I can produce more breadlie. They are cool, but they're not
as cool.
Right. Well, I'm not the kind of, you can decide to chase something with them or not. So I chose my level of breadlie. And then it went up a little bit because you introduced stonewash. But I'm not chasing hypo stonewash, stripe stonewash, all this other stuff. I'd have to drastically redo my collection for that. So my red light project ends at stonewash. So now the question is, do I keep them to recreating stonewash and normal bredli, which I could do? People like normal bredli. The wholesalers that I sell to like normal bredli. It works. How well are stonewash going to sell?
So this is my mindset.
Yeah.
Rather than get the, trying to create all these combos and all, like, I mean, Nick does that.
Yes. He does it far more than I do and far better.
It's sort of the point, right? Like, why do I want to compete with that? Because you can't compete with it, right? You can't. Not at the level he's doing.
I'm not trying
to do that, right? But I would love, like, really, really, like, to me, those type of projects. I guess this is just, I don't know how this switched in me, because it's so strange, because if you listen to me years ago, I was just morph obsessed. But like, to me, I would focus on just recreating those natural types and just recreating as beautiful as you can an example of those. Like, I know we go for like the Afores line, right? Because it has a specific look and it looks, it's real pretty red and the contrast and all that kind of stuff, which is all well and good. But like normal bred line, it's sort of like what Lucas is doing with Woma pythons, right? If you go to a show, to a reptile show, and you walk in, the thing I used to say about Woma pythons was I would look at like a Barry Miller line animal, or like Rare Earth, or one of these ones that are like freaking bright ass orange, and like the bands are super clean, and then like you look at other people and it's like, I just produced a Woma python.
But that's something like, where you decide where you want to go. If all you want to do is just produce Woma pythons for the sake of Woma pythons, you could just do it. But certain animals, they don't lend anything to do anything with. Like, if I produce Timor pythons, what do? I'm just going to produce more Timor pythons. So the animal it held.
So why is it okay with those, but it's not okay with?
Because it's inherently that fucking awesome. Like, it's
exactly. That's my point.
I understand, but that's
you just answered your question.
Some people will put bredli on that pedestal. I will not.
I would.
You would.
Yeah. If I had to choose between bredli and Timor pythons,
this is where we differ. This is where we differ.
Right, and that's fine. But like, to me, this is where I've made that decision to say, like, I'm happy with these carpets. This is what I've got. This is what I want. And it's like, even with my Antaresia, right? Children's pythons, I think that there could be refinement with those. I mean, you look at some of the ones that Justin's producing. If you look at some of the ones that are, like Peter Birch and all those people down there that are producing like crazy, insane. And I'm not even talking like the morph stuff, but like
just normals.
Just normal looking stuff that's been sort of refined, whether it's, obviously, whether it's a morph or not. I guess you could consider it a morph if you want, blah, 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 selective line breeding, all that kind of stuff, that debate, okay, fair enough. But it's just a real nice example of like a wild caught type of animal. I think, to me, I think that there's a lot of potential in that complex, sort of like, again, like sort of what Lucas is doing with Womas. I think up until he sort of started doing that and amassing his collection, like there was art was really, Barry Miller was doing it, but then he got out of it. But like, Art's the only person that I can think of that has really like taken the time to pick out stellar animals and amass a group and produce insane animals.
So that's your project. So for me, I have that with my caramels and with my tigers.
Correct.
So
all the other carpets gotta go.
I'm like, why am I refining bredli? What would I do to refine?
They gotta go. Right, exactly. That's my point. They're not in your. You would much rather have the Timor python.
Yes.
Than the bred.
I'd rather have the Timor python and not do anything to refine it. Just recreate it.
Correct. Yep. Yes. That's where to me, that's where your sweet spot is. You don't want to be dealing with what percentage hypo is this?
I hate it.
Is this head?
It's just a
how can you tell it's het?
Like, dude, how many times have we had that discussion where I'm like, I'm gonna burn every single coastal exanic bullshit?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
God, I hate it.
That's the perfect example. The exanic, right? Is it exact?
Well, it has silvery, but does it have the white eyes? This has the white eyes, but it doesn't look very silvery. Like, shut up.
When you produce Timor pythons, Timor pythons come out, and it's like, guess what? They're all Timor pythons. You want a boy or a girl?
That's why I love the olive pythons. Like,
correct.
Dustin wants a pair of olive pythons, and I'm going to ship him out a pair of olive pythons. He hasn't even asked for pictures. He's just like, I would like a boy. I would like a boy and a girl. Cool. Because guess what? They all look the fucking same. So,
yes. To me, then I would be I would look for things like, is it eating good?
Right.
Does it have good size? Does obviously I'm not saying that you would send a kinky animal or whatever, but like, is it kinked up or anything like that? You know what I mean? Like,
I know the person, I purposely kink it up before I send it. Yeah.
I gotcha.
That's why you keep getting all those
like
shaped snakes.
There's jagged snake toys that like kind of like.
Oh my God, dude. It was the I love my Timor pythons. I can't touch them.
Yeah, but that's the kind of keepers we are, right?
I love my Timor pythons. I was showing Matt, and I pulled out I didn't pull them out. The bin for the male comes out, and then I was able to open it up, and the bins for the Timors fits perfectly inside my holding bin, and it all still locks. So if I got to clean their cage, the whole bin comes out and goes into another bin, and then closes, and then comes back out and is in there. It's like, I don't. Because they like, I don't want to stress them out, but I was able to pop it and the light hit them, and they have this iridescent kind of sheen that just makes them
beautiful snakes, man,
glow. And I'm like, God, I love my Timor python.
Yes, especially if you get one like if I remember correctly, the ones that Rob had were like high yellow.
They are
like really beautiful examples.
Rob picked those out himself.
Yes,
and I will trust Rob Stone to pick out animals for me any goddamn day.
100%.
Like, it was like, that's why Keith's like, I don't know what kind of Argentines you like. I'm a Keith. I trust you.
Yes.
You pick the best one. All right. Give me the next two.
Right.
That I'll take the down. So I don't even handle mine. Like they
that's where you're going wrong, Tim.
Yeah. They'll sit on a hook nice, but I don't want to like, cause I'll tell you this right now. My Dunai are the same way. But bastards. But
Squeezers.
Them, the king rats, the freaking false water cobra, everybody squeezes. But it's like,
yeah, that's the worst smell when you're out in the field.
And
you get squeezed on, and then you have to go out to eat.
You have to live with the squeeze. Yeah.
Like, the waitress comes over to you, the waiter, and they're sort of like, oh.
taking a drink, and you're like, oh no, where's the bathroom? Yeah.
Oh man, clear the way. Oh man, we're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
A lot to talk about, apparently.
I guess. Yeah. Apparently we do. Well, I'm going to leave you with a wild carpet, and since that's what I usually do, and I thought this one was nice. Cam Candy. Follow him on Instagram. This diamond python was found at a barbecue.
I was talking with Matt, and I'm like, heads or tails, man? Do you think I could convince Eric to give me his diamond pythons to let me breed them for him? He's like, you're not gonna get all of them. I'm like, I could get 2. That's all I need is 2. But God,
no, it's weird. I don't know,
dude. It's fine. Like, whatever.
I think for me, I really didn't put the word, like, I know myself, and I know that I've been kind of like purposely not pushing it because of the amount of shit that's on my plate at the moment. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. But then
if it happens, it happens. But like, I'm not.
But it's one of those things that, like, if you were to sit down for a year and focus on it, you'd get it, and then the following year autopilot it.
This next year, I will have diamond pythons, 100%. Without
yes, Buddy Francis,
I am determined.
Buddy Francis is my hero. He I I called him and texted him telling him that I had 9 slots open and no other baby racks, and he's gonna bring over 2 baby racks for me to borrow until I can get my fucking act together. So
I told you I had that V18 rack.
Dude, I might still come get that. That might be something that I come get and put on wheels, and that, like,
it's on wheels.
I know, but like it'd be one of those things that, like, Nick would always talk about. It's like, it's the year when you gotta pull out the emergency baby rack and stick it in the corner. And I'm like, why would you ever do that? I'm sitting there last night and I'm like, oh my fucking God,
it all makes sense.
Like,
it all makes sense.
Yeah, so I still might come get that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't like it for carpets because the tub wasn't tall enough, but for like big colubrids or like, olive pythons.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is that right now, in the incubator is the next clutch up is tigers, which is red tiger to that Ted Thompson tiger I got from you.
Okay.
So those will be gorgeous, and it's a return to form. It's been a while since I've had tigers.
Yes.
So it'll be that. After that is olive pythons. After that,
holy shit.
Yeah. After that,
right,
caramel tigers. And then after that, I'm waiting for my bred lie to lay, but I still have a rough scale that's refused food and looks huge. I have a white lip that's refused food and look huge. I don't have any of the mad hogs haven't hatched yet.
Right.
I have 1 clutch of Chinese king rats that hatched. I'm waiting for the second clutch because those bastards lay 2 a year. And then none of the other colubrids, like corn snakes and stuff, they haven't laid.
Oh shit! What is Buddy making room for?
He's making room for diamonds or stuff I'm trying to get rid of. He keeps telling me that he'll make room for things I need. I asked him if he wanted anything for the racks, and he said a rough scale python. And then I told him that he needed to go to the hospital because clearly he has some sort of undiagnosed head injury that he needs to get looked at. And he says, so that's a no. And I'm like, a hard no, sir. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, you ain't bumping the line in the rough scale department.
No,
pal.
Man. People are already circling asking me if I got roughies right now, and I'm like,
you gotta have a rogue reptile roughy. Like, come on, man. There's something about that rogue reptile roughy.
Like, people need to understand, I am my own best customer.
Correct.
Like, I'm gonna hatch
and I'm
them.
your second.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I never give you cash.
I know
it's like racks, but
years and years worth of things that are just like, now it's all come due. Now is the time. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Excellent.
Actually, I know this is not going to help you.
No.
But I was actually going to bring my male hypo.
No, please, no.
To you. To breed.
I mean, I'll take it.
I'm like, what would Owen do if I just showed up with this male hypo and said, here, breed it?
Chuck him to a tiger.
You have a female tiger?
Yeah, plenty of things. No, see, no, you can't do this. I just said I wasn't going to do any carpet python.
End show.
Why would you do this to me? I said no carpets.
I know you did, and I said you would have carpets.
That's not fair. Like,
I mean, I could give him to Buddy. He's got some tigers.
No, Buddy, no. Whoa.
Yeah, like to me, okay, that's an example of what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Like to me, those hypos, I bought them. Yeah. I'm all into them. They're beautiful snakes. Everything is cool. I can't believe I have a hypo coastal carpet, all that kind of stuff. Amazing. Awesome. And then I'm like, I don't know. Is it like, if I'm trying to do bigger enclosures with less, do I need a pair of hypos? Do I just need a female with hypo? Like,
you really just get by with a boy. And
then what I really want is I really want a tiger hypo. So,
All right, so you got the key, I got the lock, is what we're saying here, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
You're gonna be like, yay, tiger hypos. All right, I'm good. And you're gonna scurry off back to your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that, so I put that in your ear so you can meddle that around for your.
Great. You make me a liar because Melissa was doing the same thing. I'm like, I'm not breeding any carpets. She's like, yeah, okay. I'm like, I'm not breeding any carpets next year. And now it's gonna be like, well, Eric dropped a hypo off on me, and now I'm screwed. Yeah,
he did it to you again.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you let him keep doing this? I don't know. Like. That Burke fella shows up and dumps up a bunch of goddamn jags on your doorstep, and you take them all. Well, yeah, what was I supposed to do?
Well, that was the beginning of that.
That was
the easiest call I did, right? It was like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna get rid of? I can't get rid of them. I need them all. I want the whole. I love them all. I love them all. What am I gonna get rid of?
Thing, like, so,
well, I'm tired of this jag shit. They gotta go.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm sitting there and like we're talking about ditching jungles. I have that jungle jag that you gave me. And all I keep wanting to do is cross her with a really nice jungle or a zebra. Like I want to take a male zebra to her so badly.
You will make insane snakes.
Dumbass. So the only male zebra I ever produced.
Oh, idiot.
Yeah, moron. So now what I have to do is be like, so yeah.
There's tough decisions up on the line, my man.
I know.
And then what are you going to do when I produce the Russian tigers?
Make room. You'll make
room for them.
I will make room for the Russian tigers.
Yeah,
get the shit out of here. Like it would.
He's standing out front of Hamburg with holding it up.
Free retic. Yeah. Promise me you won't kill it and you can have it. Like it's but there's that kind of stuff where it's like, you know, there is space to trim fat, but I don't want to go too far. But yeah, you're right. Like certain things would have to just start getting out of here.
Yeah.
And watch the Xanax shit go quickly.
Yeah.
When it's like Russian tigers, get out now. So
yeah. So
how's that going?
What?
The Russian tigers.
Well, like I said, you know, I saw some action, but we're past that mark now.
there would have been eggs by now.
Yeah, we're past that mark.
Yeah,
but next season, it's kind of like
next season you have one goddamn job, and that's Russian tigers. Diamonds can wait.
No,
diamonds in this world.
I have three. Three diamonds, one
diamonds, Russian tigers, and then probably a pop one carpet thing that you told me once that went in 1 year and out the other.
No.
Or is it bredli?
No, I'd like to tick inlands off. That would be one. That would be one that I'd like to do.
Well, and then that comes to that, like, you know, we've been pointing the finger at me, but like if you produce inlands, you're going to keep them.
Inlands? Yeah, I probably would keep a couple.
What about bredli?
I would probably keep a couple.
Okay.
I think what I would do is I would just sort of hold back some that I would have that I could
and then get to your thing.
Like I'm trying to formulate my room in a way that I've sort of have it that already worked out.
Okay.
So like, you know, I want to have my own stuff that I produce and kind of
just see how that plays. No,
dude, Ivy stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I love that stuff. And I definitely dig that stuff because it's so much easier to deal with that. It's like you get to a point like with the stonewash stuff. I now have a purpose for the stonewash bredli instead of just making hats. And the good thing is that now that I have 2.2 breedable bredli, it's this year's stonewash year. Next year, normals.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just, you know, I we talked a lot about this on the Utah trip. And I think it's because, especially with me and Nipper, Rob's kind of there too. You know, it's funny because we're talking with Dustin and he's a young guy and he's sort of like, I sort of said to him at one point, I was like, listen, man, don't think that I'm not knock it. Like I've been there, man. I know how exciting it is to sort of like have all these projects and all these different things that you want and everything. And don't think that we're saying that that's a bad thing. We're just at a different spot in our lives.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're at a different, but we've already been there, done that. type
That
of
was the
deal.
funny
You know
thing
what I
in
mean?
talking with Matt, where it was like Matt's on my level when it comes to collection things. Like,
Oh, 100%.
he and I are talking, and it's like I'm like, Rob and Eric talk about like how and Nipper, it's like the size of the collection, and Matt's like, no, I'm on the same point with you. I have to spend at least 45 minutes down there a day. I'm like, thank you. I'm not the only idiot here. So
Well,
yeah.
Well, I think me, Keith, and Nipper and Rob have all been there.
I know you've
and
all been there.
it's sort of like I don't know. It's just that something happens when I don't know if it's I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it has to do with herping. I don't know. I don't know where what changed,
where the breaking point is,
where the switch was.
Right,
I don't know if it was. I think part of it is that I got really burnt out on the whole morph game. I just didn't like the way that was. It was just like it just became like I think of those years of NPR when we were just like it was like the community was divided, and yet if you like this group, you were not liked by this group, and like I don't know, man. I'm just so over that bullshit. It's like I don't really give a shit who you like or who you don't. I like my snakes, and that's really, you know what I mean? And I like surrounded by people that are in the same boat.
Do you think things would have been a little different if you had potentially gone not heavy into morphs and just kind of found your project and stuck with it and just sat with that?
Possibly. I think that's one of my regrets that I've had, that like of how I sort of like put the collection together. I was focused on the idea of sort of like having everything.
You were sold that. I mean, that's what, and that's the problem is that's what everybody was selling, and that's what everybody was getting sold on. And that's no one's fault, and that nobody like was misleading you or anything. It's just that was the game at the time.
I think it's more acceptable now to have a smaller collection.
Yeah, or to focus on a project.
Or focus on something and still be, I don't even know if it's the right word to use, like legit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like, I think that we were probably sold on the bar check thing from the, if you're looking at the early 2000s, it was all about the size of your collection. And if you didn't have like over 100 snakes, then you were just a nobody. And you know what I mean? Like, you were nobody.
You didn't have all matching black or white PVC cages with all these ledges and all this other stuff. If you didn't have a classic incubator, like, and that was the problem, is that people, if you didn't have a website and a business name, and there was definitely a way to grow into this that would be slower and easier for you.
And you think about it, like it's just a Ponzi scheme, right? Like it's like I sometimes I think about that, and it's like, or pyramid scheme, and I think about like the idea of like you're just breeding to sell to another breeder who's going to breed to sell to another breeder who's going to breed to sell to another breeder who's going to breed to sell to another breeder. Like, it's kind of strange when you think about it from a, like, you take, I don't know, when you look at it from a different angle, you're sort of like,
or you could focus on trying to make the coolest looking shit you could possibly make out of your stuff and your project. Because like I told you the one time I had like 3 people who were interested in breeding granites turn down this gorgeous granite that was produced. And then the people who bought it, I'm like, oh yeah, she's going to make some really cool babies later on. They're like, oh no, we don't breed. We just want to keep her. I'm like, oh yeah, you can do that. And it's like, okay, well, cool. So like, I am producing stuff for my projects, and then whatever I can't keep needs to be sold. And those babies, I'm hoping, look appealing enough to people that they will want to buy them and use them in either a breeding project or just a pet or anything. That's the point. Certain species I would prefer if it was going to a breeding project just because of the rarity of the species. But I've gotten more people who are just interested in the animal themselves. Like mad hogs, I keep getting more and more people who just want mad hogs because they want to set them up. They want to see them do their thing. They want to communally house them. They want to do all that stuff. That's it. They don't even want to breed.
Yeah. It's not that I like breeding. I love the idea of it. I love like seeing the whole thing. I think it's awesome.
I love seeing weird shit pop out of an egg. It's like,
I just don't know if I had in the early days, Luke Snell was a big like a big influence on me. And I used to I couldn't wrap my brain around. It's like, dude, why don't you have jungle carpets?
Yeah.
And he's just like, man, no, it's just, they don't do it for me. And I'm like, how can they not do it for you? Like, I don't know. It's just, it was strange for me, for someone that's so into carpets, that you wouldn't want all of them. Like, I just, I don't know. I don't know, and I think the customer part of it probably, like,
dude, I mean, we were talking
I think when
about
I'm dealing with customers
etiquette.
all day, like, I don't want to be the guy that's going to be the asshole, because you know what I mean? I don't have that energy anymore, man. I don't mean energy like physical energy. I mean like mental energy. I just don't I'm spent. I don't want to spend my afternoon arguing with somebody about something that I'm super passionate about. And then like they're going to suck that passion out of it because they're asking me a question that's probably a legit question, but I just don't feel like answering the you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's not legit questions, because like sometimes it's just that like sometimes people don't, like, when you're messaging me at midnight, telling me that you're ready to pay for a $250 animal that you previously asked for a payment plan for. Like, and then I don't respond, and you start sending me question marks. Fuck you. Like that's just how it is. Like, I mean, like, but that's what it is. Some customers will attempt to suck the life from you. So, which I say is, number one, do not contact the seller unless you are ready to buy. As much as you think it is a compliment to say that you absolutely love our animals and that we would love to buy it when we have money, like, you can put a comment on a picture like that. You don't need to contact me on a for sale ad for that. Like, come on, man.
Do you think that part of that though has to do with the fact of, like, if somebody, I don't know, like it's sort of like maybe a nervous tick of like, how do I break the ice with this person?
I understand, but like, if you're interested in it, just like, but if you're not ready to buy it, don't do it. Like, don't comment on
phrase the message in a different way,
And also, there's no reason to contact me on a for sale ad. There's so much social media and stuff out there.
Yeah,
so much. You tell me you can't find me?
Yeah, that's the other hard thing I have a problem with, right? I look at like just my feeling on like how you contact somebody, right? When I contact somebody, whether it's for coming on the show or whether it was to buy an animal or whatever, it's like, good afternoon, whatever, hello, hi, my name is Eric Burke, blah, blah, blah. If it's the podcast, I'll be like, I host a podcast, Morelia Python Radio. I was wondering if you would be interested in coming on, and like, there's not like, you come on podcast, like, and
you don't just send multiple emojis of a microphone. Question mark, microphone. Yeah. Excitement, explosion, skull and crossbones. Like, it's but
and it's kind of like, am I just the old guy now to where,
no,
like,
I don't know, but
you know what I'm saying? Like, I think about that as like, is this just how young people communicate?
No,
I'm not with it.
It shouldn't be, and it isn't.
I know it should be,
but I've had multiple interactions where it's really good. Somebody's like, "Hey, I've been looking for Madagascar hognose, and I hear you're the guy to talk to." Yeah, well, I have this many available. Awesome. I would love one. How much to this address? Okay, this much. Great. How do I pay you? Okay, this is how. Awesome. What days work best for shipping? These are the days that work best for shipping for me.
Yeah,
cool. Done. That is the dream.
Yeah, that's me as a customer.
And but like, I also don't mind questions.
There's Bigfoot.
Right, I know. I also don't mind questions when they're like, when you ask a question and I answer it, accept it. Don't argue with me. It's like, can these be kept together? I would not recommend it.
Right.
Because this can happen and this can happen. Well, won't they just breed? First off, this is a baby. Like, it's going to take several years to get there. And also, I still wouldn't recommend it because you can still have problems and interactions. Like, don't fight me on it. You asked me the question. I answered it. You asked me the question because I know the fucking answer.
Just
don't question the answer.
Ask ChatGPT.
Exactly. Like, why are you even coming to me then?
Yeah.
Like, it's that whole thing. So there's a lot of stuff where it's just that, obviously understand that if you're contacting somebody and they're across the country, time zones are fucking different.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, and you can easily do this. if you just take another step. But like, dude, how many people are like, hey, Owen, why don't you have this? I'm like, well, I don't have the money right now. I'm not ready to buy right now. So I'm not going to bother some breeder and be like, hey, do you have Cebu pythons? I do. Cool. Oh, no, that's all. That's all I wanted. Oh, okay. Like that's.
You get a McIntyre badge. There you go.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So, yeah, I don't know. All those things, maybe all together. Maybe it's just, like I said, maybe it's just whatever. But it's like, to me, I've always been interested and fascinated with the behavior of it, right?
Yeah.
I've always been into, I mean, just think of like how, just how I would phrase questions on NPR, right? It's just like, I want to learn more about what makes that snake tick, like what really is going on, like the things that we think about, and like why does that really happen? Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like and to I think to say, like, you and Matt, you guys are more into, and I don't like the business, not the business side of it, but like you're into the idea of like having this collection where you're producing ththese cool stuff, or like you're into the challenge of like trying to tick off another species and say like, oh, I think you and Matt are a lot alike in that way, because you have a variety in your collection. Like you have your core shit,
but then you have the weird shit too.
But you have that other shit that's like the outliers. Where I've always sort of been like, I'm always in this sort of like this lane, and I'm never steered out of the Morelia lane.
You have the collection, like Rob has the collection, where it's like, these rhinos will produce rhinos, and there's no need to go beyond rhinos, because this will be what the rhinos produce. Over here are the boas that produce the boas. It's like that's the whole point. It's that everything is efficient. So the issue is that, and I understand people get overzealous and people get excited about this kind of stuff, but it's like there are ways to go about things. There are ways to start conversations. Like I hate the Instagram hi.
One of my assistants sends me a message where it's just like words. Like, just fucking make a paragraph of what you want to ask
out. Like, tell me what you want. It's like I've told people.
Are you at work?
Yeah, it's like, and I've spoken to people where it's like, I understand that you might have a question, and I understand that you might want to talk to me about something. Just make a message or an email or articulate something and send it to me. And if I'm busy, I will read it and I will respond to you. I promise I will get to it. But if you just say hi and then wait for me to respond back, it might not happen, because I'm just going to be blowing all over the place. You just tell me what you want and I will get to you.
Yeah.
And some people are turned off by that. And I get it. Like, it's just the way it is. But
yeah,
I'm pulled in so many different directions in a day. I can't do this. And to have people like I told you about the one guy who's like, how much for all your jungle jacks? And I'm like, well, this times this equals this. Right. And they're like, well, no, it's too rich for my blood. But if you work with me, I do 50 something shows in Texas. I'm like, well, if I'm labeling something as wholesale, it will be labeled wholesale. And it's because I want to wholesale them. And I'm going to lower the prices for wholesale. Trying to buy multiples, hoping that I will take enough off for it to be worth to you, is not
right.
Doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. And I probably would be more into the wholesale thing.
I am.
Or just giving them to you to sell. Like, there you go, bro.
I still have that the zebra het granite you gave me. I'm like, I gotta get rid of this thing. But I am into wholesaling. I've already contacted several people about wholesaling. There's a show in June that I'm probably going to drop off a bunch of animals to. It's just they need to shed, because I need them to shed. I need to figure out where we're at, and I need to figure out what are the ones that I'm going to roll the dice on, because it's a gamble at that point. Because you might wholesale something that's freaking badass, so you need to see. But yeah, there's going to be like this expansion and then a contract, like go back down as I focus in on these are the animals that I'm going to spend the time in raising up.
I think I think it takes time to figure that out, man.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It really does. Because if you rush it, you're going to end up regretting it.
Yeah, you want to. That's the tough part, right? You sort of like. I don't think that I've purchased a reptile on a whim in a long time. Like it's been a long time, you know.
But then also we talked about it where it's like the problem is that last year, like I have an entire clutch of white lips minus 2 that are still here.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10 slots, 8 slots now, because they have not sold because of the price that they're at. And also I haven't really been pushing them because of what they are. So that's 10 slots right there that would have been open.
Yeah.
So
that's 10 mouths you got to feed. That's 10
things, dude. There's a reason I breed mice now. Remember I told you I was never going to do that? Yeah.
Yep. Here we are.
Yeah, I have 2 boxes of mice. Yep. What we do.
I think you have to at this point, though.
Man. Yeah. Usually they have the usually the mice are like weanlings right when mom's about to have another litter. So then I'll take those out and then they'll have babies and go from there. So
Seplet snakes. Oh man. Pickup trucks selling wholesale meat.
Not necessarily, but I do have 2 pet stores that I sell to, and then
that's cool.
And then 2 dealers. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good.
I'm trying to get a third pet store. I'm trying to. There's a store up here, dude. That's the size of a freaking Walmart that does like pets, aquariums, reptiles.
Is that the place where you gave the talk?
Yeah. I did the talk. Like I'm gonna go there with my business card and just like throw them at employees and try to see if they'll buy shit from me too. So,
wow.
Yep.
All right. We're almost at 2.5 hours now.
We're done. I'm done. I keep hearing puppies, so I need to go downstairs. And
me too. I hear it in the background like a faint.
The one learned that if it barks enough, something happens.
Right.
Not always good, but something happens. So
right.
Yep, go deal with that one. 2 more weeks, and then they're out of here.
There you go. Peace and quiet again.
Maybe
at the McIntyre estate.
We'll see.
So the podcast schedule should be back up. We have a cool BOA podcast coming out this Monday. It's Vin Russo came in and hung out with the guys, so that's cool. There's a couple colubrids. I think there's 2 more colubroid radios in the thing. Chris Paint Job is one of them. There's another one. Smoldering Serpents was just the one that just came up. If you didn't listen to that, that was a pretty awesome episode. Her display. So I'll send you a picture of some of where her room is, and then you'll see where I'm at. Right? You'll see like, oh, okay, I get where he's going, and this is sort of like what I'm doing, and you'll understand. Well, actually, let me hold on real quick. Might as well do it while we're talking. Just promote. What else? Cold-blooded caffeine. If you want to get some good coffee, check out those guys. Carpets and Coffee Blend. The one that I just had, like I said, was the Project Herpticulture one, which was pretty good. I think still my favorite is the one that's honey processed.
Yeah, I am interested to taste that one. So,
all right. So when I walk into my snake room, that's what I want to see.
Okay. All right.
That's cages, where my head's at.
I'm starting to play with I started playing with solder so I can try to get some LED strips going and stuff like that. So yeah.
And it's not even so much like the plants in this and her enclosures are fake and all that. So it's nothing to do with like I'm not bioactive or anything like that. It's just that I want to be able to go into my snake room, sit down, have a drink or whatever, and sort of just be able to watch my snakes. That's what it's about for me. So anyway,
I have those.
Yeah, she has some pretty cool snakes. You'd probably get along fabulous with her.
I have too many. I need to start.
We need a beer sponsor. Oh yeah. Okay.
We can, somebody start making beer, and we can. We will let you sponsor us.
I have to put it through Owen for him to check out probably sometime next week, maybe after Owen sees like the design for the Carpet Fest stuff.
It needs my seal of approval.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll probably start to get that on some merch and stuff. I sort of have to I'm going to put up the post of like, here's the event, all the info, if you're coming or not. So I can start to see like, what's the head count going to be? Because I think we're only 70 days away from Carpet Fest, which is roughies and frothies. I like it. Let's see, what else do we have? So yeah, we have NPR. Like I said, probably over the weekend I'm going to put up those couple episodes. I think I found out a way that I can share podcasts to Patreon without it being on the main feed, like you sort of hear it on your own thing. So we still have Casey's where we talk to him. We still have Tony where we talk to him. I got to get all that up. That's so much work to do, which is another reason why I need a smaller collection.
Yes, that is also true.
You know what I mean?
That is also true.
I can't do all this shit.
Of course, I'm sitting here and going like, so Melissa and I are going to be in England for 10 days in October.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is going to watch the collection in October? I mean, bad enough we have to get somebody to come over and watch the animals, like the furred animals. But like, I need somebody to come over.
What week?
You're going to be in Florida. You're going to be in Florida, man. Like, I gotta have somebody come over and clean and watch, but like baby rough scale pythons, and like there's a lot of stuff in there that like, I'm gonna put a lot of pressure on other buddy.
Yeah. Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck this up, buddy.
Don't fuck it up, man.
If you better, don't you fucking dare. Yeah.
If I get a call in the middle of the night, dude, you gotta come back.
You give me like 4 rough scale pythons. Like, what?
They got out. I don't know.
Oh God! It's just Yep.
Interview sure. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, lots of stuff we'll be back on track and back on that thing. I got a monitor podcast that's got to come out.
Oh damn.
I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I got to get to work on, but all that will be out there and we'll be back on track. So yeah, sometime next week we'll have I don't know if we'll do a live show or we'll just do
we'll do something. Something will happen. Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk to Lucas about his Woma python since he wasn't here with us for Carpets and Coffee.
Lucas come on to a goddamn show.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to check out that? Just follow NPR Network. A lot of the pictures from Utah trips are starting to go up. You can follow that hashtag NPR in Utah 2023. And you can see the guys took amazing pictures, man.
Yeah, they did.
Really, really good shots. Yeah. So until then,
I'm not jealous at all, but
yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you want to throw anything out there. Owen's got snakes for you to buy.
I got snakes to buy, damn it. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that is for sale. White lips, olive pythons, rhino rats, Chinese king rats. Oh God, carpets, breadlie. There's a bunch of shit. It's all on the website. If it's not on the website, message me. I will also be vending the July Oaks show, and I will be at the June Hamburg show. So those things can be delivered. Yeah, now's the time to do it because I got babies that are going to be hatching, and I got to get shit out the door.
Guess where you can't deliver snakes to?
Where?
Carpet Fest.
You're damn right. You ask me about delivering snakes at Carpet Fest, I will slap you with a tortoise. So
you owe me a snake.
You own, yeah. Now I own one of yours.
Yeah,
and I pick it. Yeah.
Right. Very good.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye, everybody.